It's like Guidao. Shen, his soul was drained by Murangfeng, I can detect by just checking his pulse. However, I can't detect any internal injuries on Shaoqi. Nan Gongyu frowned and said, Sheer, I believe you must know that a normal person has 3 spiritual souls and 7 physical souls. The 3 souls are divided into the main soul, the enlightened soul, and the living soul. Among them, the enlightened soul is in charge of human thought and wisdom. Once the soul is swallowed, and the other 2 souls are retained, the person will retain his original vitality and have a keen reaction, but they can't have wisdom like normal people, let alone cultivation. He nodded, then she immediately shook her head, but I have never heard that there were the methods of extracting souls that can choose which soul to drain. It's true. Nan Gongyu smiled coldly and slowly said, soul extraction spells can't do it, but there is something insidious that can be done. I think Sheer must be familiar with it. What is it? Before Heshi's words were finished, Nan Gongyu spread his hand, and a small red insect-like thing appeared in his palm. Heshi's pupils shrank suddenly, and her heart seemed to be tightened for a moment. Voodoo. Yes, voodoo. Nan Gongyu's expression was not much better than her. There were even hostility and murderous intention in between his eyebrows. The voodoo that cursed Shaoqi should be soul-eating voodoo. Soul-eating voodoo is generally cultivated to a few types. Some like yin souls, some like yang souls, some like 7 physical souls. The voodoo insect cultivator can let the soul-eating voodoo choose the specific soul to devour based on the difference in cultivation, but it won't harm the target's life at all. It's just, Nan Gongyu paused, it's just that the process of raising voodoo insects is extremely difficult. During this period, human souls will be used to feed the voodoo insects. To successfully cultivate a soul-eating voodoo insect, it is very likely that the human life of a whole city needs to be sacrificed. He took a breath. Voodoo, it's the voodoo again. Last time at Breaking Spirit Mountain, she was almost dead to voodoo. If Nan Gongyu didn't arrive in time, the consequences would be unimaginable. Now, Shaoqi, her only brother, was being harmed by this soul-eating spirit again. It seems that she could no longer take it lightly by relying on her medical skills and poisoning skills. In this strange world, there were many things that could kill her. She must be careful and find a way to deal with it. He couldn't help saying, I remember you said last time that it is extremely difficult to cultivate voodoo. The cost is huge. It is by no means a small family or a small sect can afford. Feng Lianying was able to take out voodoo last time, could this matter also be related to Feng family? Nan Gongyu remembered the weird formation in the Nailanjing's study room, then he squinted slightly and said, maybe it is the Feng family, or it may be, a person of higher position. In addition, Sheer, you have mistaken about one thing. It isn't Feng family that can cultivate voodoo insect, but the Valley Master of the Thousand Poison Valley, that is, Feng Lianying's master. Thousand Poison Valley's master. He frowned and looked at her younger brother who was lying on the bed. Is the soul-eating voodoo still in Shaoqi? Is there a way to take it out? Soul-eating voodoo has been taken out long ago. Nan Gongyu shook his head, this is also the reason why your brother can maintain a sense of reason and recognize you. Moreover, soul-eating voodoo has its own preferences, but if it stays in a person for a long time, it will devour all the souls of the host due to hunger. Then, Shaoqi will not just lose his reason, but he will also become a soulless corpse. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Soul-eating voodoo was taken out. He frowned deeper. There were scruples and worries in her eyes, but there was more chilling cold. Who planted the soul-eating voodoo in Shaoqi and who took it out? Could it be Nailanjingzi? This man planted the soul-eating voodoo in Shaoqi, but he took it out again. What was it for? It couldn't be that he felt guilty, right? This is exactly what makes me feel strange. Nan Gongyu said, when I checked Shaoqi's body just now, I felt a familiar aura at his dantian. When my divine sense touched this aura, the love-devouring voodoo, who is kept in my spiritual pet bag, was agitated. It seemed to want to escape. I think, soul-eating voodoo was being taken because of the strange aura in his dantian. He was stunned. She quickly used the spiritual power to carefully check his brother dantian. But this time, she didn't choose to use water's spiritual power, but the wood's spiritual power that was the origin of everything. When the wood's spiritual power entered Xiaoqi's dantian and slowly rotated in it, a green light instantly spread from Xiaoqi's dantian to all his limbs. The next moment, something magical happened. The scar that hadn't fully healed on Xiaoqi's body was scarred in the blink of an eye. Xiaoqi, who was originally asleep, also grumbled and opened his eyes. When the purple eyes reflected Heshi's figure, he immediately jumped in excitement, threw himself into Heshi's arms, and hugged her tightly. He kept muttering, "Sister, sister." Heshi was surprised to find that this time, his voice and tone were much smoother. The movements of leaping over and hugging her just now were more agile and more like a person. Could it be that the green light just now allows Xiaoqi's wounds to heal non-stop, and finally survived Neilanjing's torture? It was also the green light that caused Xiaoqi to expel or even kill the soul-eating voodoo that was originally in his body. As Heshi was about to try to condense the wood's spiritual power again, suddenly, the teenager who was in her arms was pulled up by the collar. Nan Gongyu, with a cold face, threw away the boy who was grinning at him, and hugged Heshi into his arms as to show dominance. The icy gaze fell on Xiaoqi's body. He lowered his head and warm lips to kiss Heshi's forehead, then he slowly and gently said, "Did you see? Your sister is my woman. I can forgive you since you are her brother. However, if you jump into Heshi's arms again, don't blame me for being impolite." When Nan Gongyu glared, the boy who was still grinning immediately lowered his head, showing a grieved and scared expression. His hands were hanging on his chest. His mouth was making a whining sound. His long hair was drooping. The pair of purple eyes were under his hair. He looked very pitiful no matter how. Heshi slapped Nan Gongyu's face away irritably, and she couldn't help but smile. "Don't make trouble. Xiaoqi is my brother. Younger brother is also a man. I don't allow you to be so close to him." Nan Gongyu reached out and hugged her back. Before Heshi got angry, he quickly said with a serious face, "Sheer, I remember what that familiar feeling is. This kid's body is sealed with a powerful force like you, but yours is sealing chaos dantian and his is sealing an item. It was that item that allowed him to expel the soul-eating voodoo and protect his remaining souls." Heshi was really diverted. She immediately said, "Do you know what that item is? Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the King of Hell's Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free." Nan Gongyu shook his head. "I don't know, but I feel that the power of this item is very powerful, even I may not be able to control it. So Sheer, before you have enough confidence, you better don't use wood's spiritual power to stimulate the boy's dantian. Otherwise, once this power bursts out, it is likely that Xiaoqi will not be able to bear it, and he will eventually collapse and die." Heshi frowned. "Why do I feel that this description is so familiar? Then can Xiaoqi's soul be completely repaired?" Nan Gongyu chuckled, "Don't worry. Although the mysterious thing in his body is dangerous and unstable, it will continue to nourish his body before it erupts and keep his incomplete soul intact. During this period, we can look for the Divine Soul Jade. Divine Soul Jade can nourish human souls, and Xiaoqi's soul is not seriously damaged. I believe that with the nourishment of Divine Soul Jade, he will slowly recover his mind. It's just that, it's very likely that even if it recovers, his mind will only be at the level of a newborn baby. It needs to be taught slowly from the beginning." Heshi let out a long sigh of relief. She grabbed Xiaoqi's hand, gently pulled his messy hair behind her ears, and whispered, "Xiaoqi, as long as you can recover, sister will definitely teach you to read, speak, and cultivate to make you the most outstanding youth. This time, sister will definitely protect you." Shao-Chi couldn't understand Heshi's words, but he felt her intimacy and love. He showed a bright smile on his face. He slept on the bed with half of his face resting on Heshi's hand. He slowly closed his eyes. He mumbled, then he smiled slightly as if he was making a sweet dream. Nangong Yu put his arms around his chest and watched this sweet scene coldly. He secretly recorded this boy's mistake in his mind. In the future, I must keep Shi'er away from this stinky boy. Absolutely. Today is the first day after the wedding of Nalan family and the Zhu family. Mrs. Nalan and Nalan Yurong stayed up all night, staring at the shocking news from the Zhu family. However, what they didn't expect was that the Zhu mansion was unexpectedly calm for whole day. There weren't any sensational news, let alone the speech that Mrs. Nalan and Nalan Yurong prepared to deal with the Zhu family's father and son. Last night there was no news about the consummation. It could still be explained as Zhu Zhongba was getting confused that he didn't see the bride clearly. However, it was impossible to not have any news from the Zhu family in the morning. Nalan Yurong paced around in the room a little anxiously. A faint anxiety arose in her heart. Mrs. Nalan couldn't help but said, "Yurong, don't worry about it. Everything we arrange is seamless. There will be no mistakes." Nalan Yurong frowned and said, "Mother, are you sure that sister is gone? Where is she now?" "Of course she is gone. I'm the one who watched her leave." Mrs. Nalan smiled. She has already accepted Nalan Ziyun's invitation to live in Qixing Palace for a while. After all, if someone sees her during the Zhu family's marriage, it will be bad. What's more, the crown prince is also in Qixing Palace. If Fei Xue can go see him days and nights, maybe it will be a good thing. Nalan Yurong breathed a sigh of relief, but then she still felt a little uneasy. Mei Lan. Mei Lan. "Yes, miss, do you have any order?" Nalan Yurong said solemnly, "You go to the Zhu mansion to find out what the Zhu mansion has to say about the wedding banquet and the bride last night. Remember to be careful not to let anyone discover your identity. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the King of Hela's Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free." Mei Lan hurriedly responded, "Miss, don't worry. I will go quickly." "Yurong, what are you worried about?" Mrs. Nalan asked puzzledly. "Zhu family is just a royal merchant. Their guards aren't even at the foundation establishment stage. So what if they find out about the bitch isn't Fei Xue? Don't they still have to succumb to it? How would they dare to cause trouble here? Keeping that Nalan Heshi bitch, they can still be the in-laws of the Nalan family. If they don't want her, wouldn't they lose everything?" Nalan Yurong shook her head and said, "No. I still think things are strange. According to what I saw yesterday, the dead pig of the Zhu family is an insistent dumbass. If he finds out his wife isn't Fei Xue, but it is Nalan Heshi, that ugly monster, he will surely cause trouble. Mom, don't you have a way to contact Nalan Fei Xue? Why don't you ask how is she now?" When Nalan Yurong said, Mrs. Nalan also became anxious and quickly took out the inscribed message jade slip. The inscribed message jade slip could only communicate in a short distance. If Nalan Fei Xue was thousands of miles away, they could only send letters through the black market or use the expensive 1,000 miles voice transmission talisman. However, before Mrs. Nalan could wait for the reply, Mei Lan had rushed back out of breath. "Miss, I have already inquired clearly. From last night to now, everything is normal in the Zhu mansion. I even asked the guards, and they said that the Zhu family is very satisfied with this daughter-in-law. It was just that the daughter-in-law threw a tantrum in the morning, and she even injured the young master. However, she was subdued by the guards in the end. This matter had caused turmoil, but the news wasn't spread out. The Zhu mansion has hired a few experts to guard the bridal chamber strictly." Mrs. Nalan only felt very happy when she heard the words. When she thought of Heshi's miserable end, she couldn't help but want to clap her hands and laugh out loud. "Ha, that little bitch Nalan Heshi was so fierce this morning. Her virginity must have been broken by the fat pig of the Zhu family. Ha ha ha, this bitch actually dared to cause trouble. Doesn't she know that she has become the daughter-in-law of the Zhu family? Her life and death will be in the hands of the Zhu family. Mrs. Naylan became more excited as she talked. Even her body couldn't help shaking. Yurong, you don't know that Zhu Zhongba is a famous pervert and addiction. He has robbed a dozen women back to his mansion. No one knows how many women were played to death by him. Now the concubines that are still alive in the Zhu mansion aren't easy to deal with. Now that bitch has fallen into that pit of hell, she can't hold for long. What a miserable ending, ha ha ha, Mrs. Naylan laughed cheerfully. But Naylan Yurong's anxiety became stronger and stronger. She looked at Mei Lan. You said it was Naylan Heshi who injured Zhu Zhongba? Mei Xiang nodded. The room guards and maids said that it was the newly married madam, and they didn't mention her name. They even said that Zhu Zhongba was being whipped by the new wife until he bled all over. Naylan Yurong frowned and said, Naylan Heshi is clearly a trash. She has no cultivation at all, and even if Zhu Zhongba is useless, he is still a chi refining stage martial artist. How can Naylan Heshi beat Zhu Zhongba? What's more, using a whip. Isn't this Fei Xue's favorite weapon? Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Mrs. Naylan gritted her teeth immediately after hearing the words, Yurong, you don't know anything about that bitch. Although she has no spiritual power and martial skills, I don't know where she found a group of powerful maids. They don't look like they have any cultivation, but they are actually very capable. Last time the bitch asked a few maids to whip Fei Xue, but there isn't any scar on Fei Xue. Naylan Yurong immediately retorted, this is impossible. I asked Naylan Ziyun to deal with the Naylan Heshi's maids. How can that illegitimate son, Naylan Ziyun, be a good thing? Mrs. Naylan said in a grudge. Naylan Heshi is his sister after all. Maybe he didn't deal with those two maids at all for his own sister. Moreover, how do you know that there are only two maids next to Naylan Heshi? I remember Wang Zhong told me at the time that there were a lot of good cultivation servants standing next to that bitch. Now it seems that those servants might be given to her by King of Hell. Speaking of King of Hell, Naylan Yurong's face was suddenly distorted. Her hand on the table trembled like a spasm. She gritted her teeth and said, it must be the bitch who seduced King of Hell, or she has something that King of Hell wants, so His Highness is just using her, that's right. How would King of Hell like this ugly monster? Shameless bitch, you take away what belongs to me, Naylan Yurong. Naylan Heshi, do you think you have taken the position of King of Hell's princess? Dreaming. Now you are contaminated by the dead pig, Zhu Zhongba. I see what face do you have to seduce King of Hell. But thinking of the weird situation of the Zhu family now, Naylan Yurong was still a little worried. At this moment, Mrs. Naylan received a reply from Naylan Fei Xue. The message sent by the inscribed message jade slip was very simple. There were only a few words, I'm safe, don't worry. I'm heading to Qixing Palace. These few words completely relieved the hearts of Mrs. Naylan and Naylan Yurong. Naylan Yurong sneered and said, it's fine that she is safe. Mom, you should send a message to Fei Xue so that she must be careful in these few days and don't show up in front of others. On the day of Naylan Heshi's return, she would have been mutilated by Zhu Zhongba. By the time, even if King of Hell is angry, would he still want a dirty woman? If King of Hell wants to get any benefits from that bitch, I will naturally help him to snatch those things. At that time, King of Hell will naturally be grateful to me, and when I become a King of Hell concubine, our Naylan mansion will prosper very soon. Mrs. Naylan was overjoyed when she heard that, great. Yurong, you really are my most proud daughter. Since a few months ago, Mother has always wanted to let this bitch die horribly. Now my wish can finally be fulfilled. Naylan Yurong showed a triumphant smile on her face, but she said, Mother, your body is still not recovered. You should recuperate at the Hangfang courtyard these days. Don't go out casually. Wait until you take another master's medicine and make sure that there is no recurrence, then you can step out and control the Nalan mansion. I have something to deal with these few days, so I have to go out. When Nalan Hashi that bitch returns, I will be back again. Mrs. Nalan nodded again and again. She knew that her daughter was the one who did great things, so naturally she would not hinder her. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the king of Hela's genius pampered wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. In fact, Nalan Yurong came back this time mainly to help Master Shukong explore the details of Xingda Hall. Recently, the best quality pills and some medicinal pills that had never been seen before had spread throughout the continent. In the entire Miluo continent, now almost every sect and family were asking and discussing about the best quality pill. The elders of the Doctors' Association, such as Master Shukong, also bought some of the medicinal pills to study. However, under the research, they were shocked. Let alone the color and purity of these medicinal pills, they reached a terrifying 99%. Even the people in their Doctors' Association who were best at pill refining couldn't achieve such purity. Not to mention, some of the best quality pills, with their Doctors' Association's rich prescription collection, had never been seen before. Among them was a kind of medicinal pills called bone muscle enhancement pill. The medicinal pills sold at the beginning were only first-grade and second-grade products, which may not attract the attention of others. However, when the bone muscle enhancement pill provided by Xingda Hall reached the third grade, it caused a huge commotion. Because once medicinal pills reached the third grade, they could be taken by martial artists of the gold core stage. And there was a martial artist at the top of the gold core stage in Tiangang country. After taking medicinal pills, he condensed nascent soul and became the only nascent soul stage master of the small sect, Kueyang sect. That was the promotion of gold core stage to nascent soul. How many people had been on this step and couldn't break through for a lifetime? Even if it was a wealthy family like Feng family and Shen family, it took a lot of manpower and material resources to cultivate a nascent soul master. However, small sects like Wayangmen were not even second-rate in the past. One of the elders advanced to the nascent soul stage just because he consumed the bone muscle enhancement pill. For a time, all gold core stage martial artists' pursuit of the third-grade bone muscle enhancement pill went crazy in an instant. Besides the Jinling Kingdom, Qingxia sect and Shen family were responsible for the best quality pills sold in other places. Therefore, there were few martial artists and families who asked Shen family to supply medicinal pills. In order to let the younger generation get the best quality pill, some families even send their elite disciples to Qingxia sect to cultivate and learn martial arts. This had also made Qingxia sect more and more powerful now. They even surpassed the Feng family that was equally strong previously. At this time, all the elders in the Doctors' Association who were still very self-esteemed could not sit still. When did Qingxia sect have the ability to refine the best quality pill? It must be related to Xingda Hall of the Jinling Kingdom. What was the relationship between the two? The emergence of Qingxia sect and the best quality pill has begun to occupy the market of their Doctors' Association, causing them to gradually lose control of the medicinal pills and the doctor industry. They had obtained the best bone muscle enhancement pill, and they had been personally taken by the elders of the Doctors' Association who were best at pill refining. The pills did have the magical effect of improving the meridians and expanding the dantian. However, they searched the Doctors' Association's prescription room, but they never saw a similar prescription. And they tried to refine the same medicinal pills, but they failed again and again. This made the elders of the Doctors' Association think of a possibility. These best quality pills were from the mysterious and powerful ancient pill. Medicinal pills was a small matter, but the prescription was important. If Xingda Hall, which provided medicinal pills to Shen family, really had the ancient medicine prescription, then Doctors' Association must get it by any means. Nalan Yurong appeared in front of Xingda Hall today wearing a silk flower gold silk dress with a thin veil on her face. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Nalan Yurong was originally tall, and she had a cold and beautiful face. Now that she was covered with a veil, it gave her a sense of fairy. As soon as she appeared, the people in line in front of Shingda Hall were all looking at her, showing an obsessive look. Even if she cut the queue and walked into the store first, no one stopped her. As soon as Nalan Yurong entered the Shingda Hall store, she slowly said, "Call out the person in charge now." The staff who was preparing to sell medicinal pills was taken aback for a moment. He hurriedly stepped forward and said, "May I know why, Miss Fairy?" Nalan Yurong gave him a condescending look and sneered, "Are you worthy to talk to me? Let your superior come out to see me. I have something to discuss with him." The guy originally thought she was a beautiful woman, and he had a good impression of her. Now listening to her domineering attitude, the good impression immediately became a disgusting feeling. The man said coldly, "Sorry, our boss never meet guests easily, please return." "Do you know who I'm? A little staff dares to speak to me like this." Nalan Yurong sneered, "You think I don't know who is the owner of Shingda Hall? You are just a little boy at the foundation establishment stage. You get some small opportunities by chance, and you dare to show off in front of me? Why don't you take a look at yourself? What are you?" Before the guy had time to speak, Shisan's angry voice came from the back door of Shingda Hall. The man quickly turned around and said, "Shopkeeper Shi, thank God, you are here." Shisan didn't answer the staff, but he looked at Nalan Yurong coldly. He sneered, "You look young and pretty, but why are you so uneducated? Let alone not queuing up at my Shingda Hall, you even speak presumptuously as you come in. You really have a good culture." When Nalan Yurong saw Shisan appeared, she felt a little familiar, but she couldn't remember where she had met him. Hearing that Shisan saying that she was uneducated, she burst into anger. Nalan Yurong ripped off the veil on his face, revealing a beautiful face. She said coldly, "Do you know who I'm? I'm Nalan Yurong, the miracle healer. Nalan Zhengze is my father, Doctors Association's elder, Master Shukong is my master. I'm here today on behalf of the Doctors Association. Am I still not qualified to see your boss?" Seeing Nalan Yurong removing the veil, Shisan was also shocked. He didn't expect the person in front of him turned out to be Nalan Yurong, the eldest miss of the Nalan family. This was Zhang San's original master. But soon, Shisan recovered his senses. He was not Zhang San now, but Shisan. So what if Nalan family was my master before? When I was in Nalan family, I was just an unknown chi refining stage guy, and anyone could simply hit and scold me. But after following Heshi, not only my cultivation has reached the foundation establishment stage, but all kinds of masters are always following me by my side. Those nobles who are originally aloof all smile to welcome me. All these are given by Mississippi. In front of Miss, who you think you are, the eldest miss of the Nalan family. What the fuck is the Doctors Association? Thinking of this, Shisan immediately sneered and said, "I'm so sorry, our boss never meet customers easily, let alone the domineering nobody who came to the store without an appointment. Miss, please return. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/ The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife / to read the latest chapters for free. She dragged her hands so hard that Mr. Liao was caught off guard. She actually dragged away his whip, even Mr. Liao stumbled by the drag. Heshi's movements didn't stop for a moment. She first whipped away Mr. Liao who was closest to her, then she turned around and whipped at Mr. Liao's two disciples. The two disciples' cultivation was actually not high. They were summoned by Feng Lianying just because they looked ugly. Now that they were whipped by Heshi with internal force, they screamed abruptly and fell to the ground. Heshi didn't dare to stay for a while. Regardless of the surge in the body, she channeled her remaining spiritual power and quickly flew toward the rank 4 magical beast area. This was her only chance, and the only chance. Feng Lianying's hysterical scream came from behind her ears. Liao Qingfu, you piece of shit. I let you torture and play with her. If you let her run away, I want you all to die. The rank 4 magical beast area was in front of her. He was suffering the torments of hell inside her. Her vision was blurred, but there was still hope in her eyes. Just a little bit, it is just a little bit. However, there was a loud bang in the ear, then a severe pain came from behind her head. She didn't even have 10% of her power and agility now. Before she could react to it, she was smashed to the ground. She spat a mouthful of blood. Her internal organs were so painful as if they were being stirred. However, after the pain, there was the heat wave of lust that was even harder to resist. She heard Mr. Liao's proud laugh in her ears. Baby, do you think you can escape my palm? Ha ha ha, no one has ever escaped after falling into my hand. However, for such a masterpiece like you, I promise to let you enjoy before killing you. She closed her eyes, her heart full of despair and sadness. But what she didn't find was that the blood she spat splashed onto the inscribed jade slip on her chest. There was a light silver like it was breathing on the inscribed jade slip. Mr. Liao and his disciple walked toward He. He held something like an iron rod in his hand, tapped his palm gently, and sneered, "Why are you not running now? You can try again. Let's see if you can escape from me." He looked at him coldly. Her body was obviously very fragile after being influenced by the lust fire, but those eyes were like cold swords, making those who saw them trembled felt as if they had fallen into an ice cellar. Mr. Liao's brows frowned, and a bit of uneasiness surged in his heart. Suddenly, he spoke to his disciple faintly, "This girl has a little temperament. If she keeps messing around, wouldn't we not be able to enjoy it? You all go tie up her hands and legs. If she dares to resist, just cut off all her tendons and hamstrings. Miss Feng just wants to see us play with her white jade-like body. I think Miss Feng won't bother whether she becomes cripple." Feng Lianying laughed immediately when she heard it. "Mr. Liao, the worse you torture her, the happier I will be." At this moment she was channeling the recording talisman. Looking at He, who was about to fall into a miserable state, she just excitedly wanted to laugh loudly. Mr. Liao's disciple listened to the command and pushed toward He. He's vision was blurred at this time. The sound in her ears became a noisy and distant echo. The only feeling in her whole body was the burning desire. Please go to https://www.novel updates. cc/The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. There were people from the Doctors Association whom Nailan Jingzi couldn't afford to offend. Looking at the debris in this place, Nailan Jingzi gritted his teeth, turned, and walked back into the underground cave below. As soon as he entered the cave, the man curled up in the corner immediately rushed toward him, making a sharp wailing sound. Nailan Jingzi smelled the stench coming at his face, and he felt nothing but disgust. He whipped at the incoming person. The whip had barbs. It was painful like peeling off one's skin, but the wounds wouldn't bleed, leaving only bruises on the skin. This was the method Nailan Jingzi especially used to deal with the medicine man in front of him. It was to prevent his precious blood from being lost. He whipped a dozen times, and the medicine man finally rolled and wailed on the ground in pain. He didn't dare to get close to Nailan Jingzi again. Only then did Nailan Jingzi sneered, stepped forward, and cut the man's hand with a knife. Drops of blood fell into the porcelain bowl specially prepared by Nailan Jingzi, but after a while, the blood clotted. Nailan Jingzi frowned. I clearly remember that I had given this medicine man a lot of medicinal pills to prevent blood clotting. Why is it ineffective now? He had no choice but to make another cut on the arm of the medicine man. Seeing more and more blood was lost, the medicine man began to whine in despair, and his body kept moving back. Nailan Jingzi grabbed the whip and struck it on him. He only stopped whipping when he heard him begging for mercy. Seeing that the blood was almost collected, Naelanjunza let go of his hand and randomly sprinkled some external injury medicine on his wound. The blood of this medicine man was easy to coagulate, and his wound was also very easy to heal. He just ate some spoiled food every day, but he could still survive for a long time. With this little injury, Naelanjunza was not worried that he would not survive. When he stood up and was about to leave, the medicine man, wearing the helmet, jumped over again. He hugged Naelanjunza's leg and made a whining sound in his mouth as if trying to express something, but he could not say a word. Naelanjunza only felt disgusting when his dirty body contaminated his clean clothes. He lifted his foot and stomped his face in the mud. Son of a bitch, haven't you learned how to behave after so long? Would you like me to teach you how to be a good beast? Hee, illegitimate son by Lingua, you are as lowly as her. You're destined to live a miserable life in this dark dungeon. After that, he kicked the medicine man, turned around, and left without hesitation. The medicine man hit the wall like a rag. Feeling the sharp pain all over his body and smelling the stench in the cave, he couldn't help crying. After Naelanjunza got the blood, he went back to continue refining pill. In fact, the medicinal pills he refined were just the most common spirit healing pills. The originally inconspicuous spirit healing pill, just because of adding the blood of the medicine man, it became the Juku Lingshan pill that the world sought after. Many people had been researching after getting Juku Lingshan pill, hoping to see the formula of medicinal pills, but no one in this world knew how this medicinal pill was made. Thinking of this, Naelanjunza couldn't help but sneer. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the King of Hell's Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Even if the Doctors Association had more Grandmaster-level pill refiners, they would never know that his secret ingredient was a person's blood. No matter how good they were, if they want Juku Lingshan pill, they still have to buy it from him. As long as he still holds Juku Lingshan pill in his hands, then Naelan family won't fall. He just didn't know whether the formula of the spirit healing pill was too bad that it couldn't support the blood of the medicine man, or because the third-grade spirit healing pill was not something that Naelanjunza could refine at will, which caused the success rate of refining Juku Lingshan pill to be low. Because of this, Naelanjunza crazily wanted to get in Lingua's relic. Think about the third-grade bone muscle enhancement pill and third-grade flame spirit pill sold by Shingdahal. If he could get these prescriptions, together with the blood of medicine man, he could refine more pills other than just Juku Lingshan pill. Thinking of this, Naelanjunza hated Lingua to her core. If it weren't this bitch leaving her relics to Naelan Heshi, my Naelan mansion would have prospered already. This time, a furnace of Juku Lingshan pill was finally successfully refined. Naelanjunza looked at the red medicinal pills that were completely different from ordinary spirit healing pills, and a triumphant smile appeared on his face. He summoned the butler to the study room and asked him to send out the medicinal pills he just made. As expected, the butler came back and told him that those families who had received Juku Lingshan pill were all smiling. They said that Naelan family could ask them for help if anything happened in the future. Naelanjunza felt proud. This pill is indeed the strongest backing of my Naelan family. He returned to the cave. He wanted to take a little more blood to refine a furnace of medicinal pills. However, after seeing the state of the medicine man, he frowned. He saw that the wound that should have healed long ago even without applying the external injury medicine, was still bloody now. And the person whose blood was extracted was also weak and cold. Could it be that he lost too much blood last time, which caused the healing power in his body to decline? Naelanjunza's face was cold. In the end, he just kicked the medicine man severely, then he turned and walked out of the cave. Forget it, considering the preciousness of this medicine man, I should use it slowly. What's more, only if this person still exists, I can threaten Naelan Heshi someday in the future. Naelan Heshi, that bitch, thought that with the support of King of Hell, she can be arrogant against me. But she didn't know that I have a way to make her obediently listen to me. At that time, when I get the things, King of Hell Mansion will also be my aide. I don't have to worry about not achieving great things. The next day, as soon as Naelanjungza came out of the study room, he saw the butler coming in with a box. What is this? The butler heard the inquiry and hurriedly bowed and said, Report to master, this was sent by the shopkeeper Shisan of Shingda Hall. It is designated to be received by the third Miss, Naelan Hashi. Sent by Shingda Hall to Hashi. Naelanjungza's brows throbbed and took the box without thinking. There were several porcelain bottles in the box, and each of them contained the best quality pills sold out by Shingda Hall. There was even the most famous bone muscle enhancement pill. Naelanjungza looked at the medicinal pills in front of him, and his face turned extremely gloomy. Are you sure these things are for third miss? The butler hurriedly said, It's true, the shopkeeper Shisen also specifically ordered that only third miss can see these things. Even master, you can't see it. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Shameless slut. He really hooks up with Shiyu. Naelanjungza yelled, his voice was trembling slightly. Unexpectedly, what Ziyun said was true. Naelan Hashi really hooks up with Shiyu. Such an incompetent and ugly trash like Naelan Hashi, why is she favored by Shiyu and King of Hell? The only explanation is that Hashi got Enlingyue's relics. Only with those things as a bargaining chip, that bitch can hook up with King of Hell and Shingda Hall. The butler continued, then Shisen also said that this is a thank you gift specially prepared for third miss by his master to thank third miss for her help. Moreover, there is bone muscle enhancement pill, which is given specifically to third miss to let her take it, hoping to improve her physique. The housekeeper's words seemed to confirm Naelanjungza's guess. Shiyu thanks Naelan Hashi for her help, but what can that useless Naelan Hashi help Shiyu? Isn't it Enlingyue's relic? Thinking of the prosperity of Shingda Hall nowadays, he heard that it had something to do with Qingxia sect of the Shin family. The Miluo continent was now even talking about medicinal pills. A hint of madness flashed in Naelanjungza's eyes when he thought of this. All these should belong to his Naelan family. Naelan Hashi, you bitch really deserves death. You forced me to do all these. Naelanjungza strode toward Xinu house. He was going to find Naelan Hashi. He had completely lost his patience. However, before he arrived at Xinu house, he was stopped by someone. It was a martial artist from Meridian's stage who stopped him. Naelanjungza recognized that this was the confidant of his eldest daughter, Naelan Yurong. The martial artist smiled and said, Master, third miss is not in the house now. But in a few days, Master will be able to see third miss, so don't worry. Naelanjungza rolled his eyes. He faintly felt something. He sneered and turned away. Since Yurong wanted to deal with that bitch, he might as well wait and see the situation. With Yurong's cleverness and cruelty, he didn't believe what advantage Naelan Hashi could get. At this time, Hashi, who was cursed by the entire Naelan family, was studying her new prescription in the King of Hell Mansion leisurely. Now, she could refine the 4th grade medicinal pills, but it was limited to the most common Meridian's cleansing pill and spirit healing pill. Once medicinal pills reached the 4th grade, the spirit grass and materials used were no longer simply available on the market. Especially for some main medicines, it needed a spirit plant that was at least tens of thousands of years to be effective. This was also fortunate that she had such an overpowered artifact like Ancient Rhyme's spiritual field. It let her able to refine some ordinary medicinal pills. But if she was refining some top-quality medicinal pills, even if she had Ancient Rhyme's spiritual field, it would take at least 10 years to harvest the corresponding spirit grass. Moreover, Hashi studied the prescriptions recorded in the Overflowing Cauldron Pill scripture and the King of Hell Mansion and discovered that the prescriptions in the Miluo continent were too few. There were only a few that improve the meridians and supplement the spiritual power. Even those that could strengthen the body were fewer, let alone those that could cleanse the body and transform the bones. As He fell into contemplation, two long fingers were holding a peeled grape in front of her. He swallowed the grape without thinking about it. Her tongue even touched his finger, giving her a feeling of friction that made her tremble. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the king of hell is genius pampered wife / to read the latest chapters for free. Nan Gong-yu's hand, that was about to be retracted, flirtatiously pressed He's mouth before slowly retracting it. He's face flushed suddenly, and she looked at Qing Long and Qing Wan, who were trying to pretend to be, I don't exist. He couldn't help but glared at the shameless man. No fooling around, haven't you seen me busy? Nan Gong-yu slowly peeled another grape and fed it to her mouth. He smiled lightly, I know my princess is tired, so I'm here to serve my princess. Is she satisfied with my service? He's face was even redder. This man is really too shameless. Haven't you seen many people beside you? But thinking of His Royal Highness King of Hell peeling grapes for her, she was feeling dumbfounded and sweet in her heart at the same time. She stretched out her bright white slender fingers, picked up a grape and gently peeled it, and then fed it to Nan Gong-yu. But he said coquettishly, are we even now? Nan Gong-yu looked at the girl's blushing cheeks and the phoenix eyes rippling like autumn water. He felt a surge of excitement in his heart. He lowered his head and put the grapes and the girl's fingers in his mouth. Feeling the warm and smooth tongue wrapping her fingers as if it was an intimate touch. He's heart jumped and she quickly retracted her hand. Nan Gong-yu laughed loudly. He hugged and kissed her lips lightly, then he said in low voice, I'm very happy. He didn't say why he was happy, but the joy and sweetness in the corners of his eyebrows and eyes were all telling his affection for her. She glared at him, then she studied the pill prescription that Nan Gong-yu gave her. She returned to the topic, are these all the prescriptions in King of Hell Mansion? Nan Gong-yu shook his head while peeling the grapes. Most of the prescriptions of Miluo continent are in the hands of the Doctors Association. Most of these are even left by the previous Zhu Ke, and some were accidentally collected by Wu Yu in Gluttonous House. He frowned and said, isn't anyone trying to develop a new pill? Even if the new pill is not easy to create, at least it can be improved on the basic prescription, right? Before Nan Gong-yu could answer, Qing Wan couldn't help but said, Princess doesn't know that there are people trying to develop new prescriptions in Miluo continent, but very few people can succeed. Most of the pile refiner attempts to modify the prescription by adding or removing ingredients, then they will discover that the pills they refined will be less effective. Like the princess, who can create a brand new pill prescription, and can even improve the original pill prescription, no one can do that in thousands of years. As Qing Wan said, she looked at He with an admiring gaze. Her eyes were almost beaming with dazzling light ever since she knew that the medicinal pills sold by Xingda Hall were all made by her princess. Qing Wan's adoration of He reached its peak. Unlike Qing Long, who often couldn't understand Nan Gong-yu pampering He like he was a slave, Qing Wan felt that only a woman as good as the princess could be worthy of her master. Princess is so powerful, she is simply the model for all women in the world. The master treats the princess better, that's the right thing to do. Otherwise, what if the princess is robbed by another man? Qing Wan didn't realize that she just followed He for a month or two, and her heart began to unconditionally lean toward He. She was completely subdued by He. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the king of hell is genius pampered wife / to read the latest chapters for free. He remembered something when she heard that, and she turned to look at Qing Long. I asked you to find the jade fire toad last time, did you find the trace of it? Qing Long immediately showed a look of guilt when he heard the words, reporting to the princess, we have sent all the spies of King of Hell Mansion and Iron Kirin, holding the inscribed jade slip and looking for it in various remote places, but there is still no news yet. He frowned. Is there really no jade fire toad in this Miluo continent? She remembered the characteristics of jade fire toad, it must be a place where yin and yang intertwine. She couldn't help saying in a deep voice, in this Milieu continent, is there a place with the most intense interweaving of yin and yang? You can follow this direction and look for it again. Qing Long nodded quickly, yes, princess. A place where yin and yang intertwined. Qing Long frowned and fell into contemplation. In a moment, he passed the command. Jade Fire Toad was related to the old disease of the master, he must find a way to find it. As soon as He raised her head, she met Nan Gongyu's tender and pampering eyes. He stretched out his hand, scratched the tip of He's nose gently, and said softly, little girl, are you so worried that I will die? This time, He didn't go rebuke him. Instead, she looked seriously at him, replying word by word, Nan Gongyu, I know you have always protected me, from the sealed dragon domain to the breaking spirit mountain, and then to the Nalan mansion. You protect me like that, so I will of course protect you and protect everything you care about. Nan Gongyu was stunned, and the emotions in his eyes were turbulent as if some strong emotions were about to overflow. He stretched out his hand and gently stroked the girl's soft cheeks. He wanted to say something, but he couldn't utter a word. As he was about to move forward and kiss her pinkish lips, there was a childish voice suddenly came into his ears. Mom, you want to play kiss kiss with Daddy? As it spoke, it immediately turned around, have you all seen? Mom is going to play kiss kiss with Daddy. We can't be here as a third wheel. Let's go to other places to play. Heshi's mouth twitched. As soon as she turned her head, she saw Little Egg, Little Golden Dragon, Little Dumb Cow, and her brother Shao Qi, all looking at her and Nan Gongyu with innocent eyes. And Purple Abyss Vine was also shaking her purple vine behind, cheering for them. Heshi pushed Nan Gongyu away and reprimanded Little Egg softly, Little Egg, what nonsense are you talking about? If you talk nonsense, get back to the void and don't come out. Little Egg shook his little head and he wasn't afraid at all. Instead, he ran to Nan Gongyu, and his little pig's trotters grabbed Nan Gongyu's legs to please him. Daddy, Daddy, Mom is shy, right? You're right. Nan Gongyu was extremely satisfied with these, Daddy, so he tolerated this stupid little guy a little bit. Seeing that Heshi was about to become irritated, Nan Gongyu hurriedly made a silent motion and said solemnly, Shu, since you know that your mom is shy, you are not allowed to peek when your daddy is playing with your mom in the future, do you understand? Now go and play by yourself. Little Egg chuckled a few times, then he immediately returned to his little friend, crawling along Shao Qi's hands and feet onto his back. Shao Qi, this little friend, received a warm welcome from the spiritual pets of Heshi. The reason was that he was much larger than Little Egg, Little Golden Dragon, and Little Cow, they all could play on his body. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Moreover, Shao Qi was also very hardworking. No matter how the little ones tossed him, he would always smile stupidly. Only when he saw Heshi, he would throw away the little ones and rush to her to coquette. Of course, the premise was that there was no Nan Gongyu by Heshi. Shao Qi was terrified of Nan Gongyu, the brother-in-law, who always threatened him. At this moment, Little Dumb Cow was lying under Shao Qi's feet, sticking out his tongue and looking at Little Egg. Little Egg sat on Shao Qi's knee and gnawed on a chicken leg, giving some to Little Golden Dragon and Little Dumb Cow a little from time to time. Little Golden Dragon kept doing all kinds of funny stunts and chattering in Shao Qi's ear. He was born to be talkative. Little Egg and Heshi sometimes disliked him. Now there was Shao Qi who wouldn't dislike him. He was really happy for this. As for Purple Abyss Vine, it wrapped around Shao Qi's hand and gently brushed his skin with the leaves, making Shao Qi feel itchy and giggle. Heshi looked up and saw such a scene. Everyone whom she cared was with her, and her beloved man was peeling grapes for her. Such moments were quite good, making her nostalgic and smile sweetly. In order for this wonderful moment to survive forever, she has to keep getting stronger until no one could take anything from her. As if feeling her mood, Nan Gongyu gently hugged her and whispered in her ear, "Sheer, don't worry, as you said, I will protect you and everything you care about. I will swear by my deceased parents." Since Shi-san became the shopkeeper of Xingda Hall, he had always thought that he had been accustomed to everything that happened. However, when he received news from He and asked him to report the news to King of Hell Mansion, he still felt cold feet. He looked up at the towering plaque on top, and two black shirt guards standing in front of the door. The two guards guarding the gate belonged to the Meridian stage, and they looked steadily ahead. Their bodies exuded a murderous aura like two sharp swords that would unsheath at any time. My gosh! This is the King of Hell Mansion. What did Miss ask me to come here? Is she here to treat King of Hell? If that's the case, Miss is too powerful. Even King of Hell is seeing her. Shi-san faintly knew that his Miss had a relationship with an important person, and that person even came to their simple courtyard. However, he would never ever expect that that person would be the famous King of Hell. Shi-san stepped forward tremblingly and explained his identity to one of the guards. Unexpectedly, when the guard heard Shi-san reporting his identity, he immediately showed a respectful expression. "Shopkeeper Shi, Butler Nan has instructed us that the princess has been waiting for you for a long time, please come in with me." Wait. Wait, what? Who the hell is the princess? Why is the princess waiting for him? Shi-san followed the guard to the mansion almost in sync. He was feeling dizzy all the way. However, when he arrived in the courtyard and saw the scene in front of him, he almost stopped breathing. Am I having illusion? The unparalleled handsome man and exuded an astounding momentum. Is he Royal Highness King of Hell? Shi-san had seen the heroic appearance of King of Hell, Nan Gongyu, from a distance. Besides, Nan Gongyu had such an outstanding appearance. He had become the dream lover of female cultivators in the world before he was an adult. Anyone who had seen him would never forget his appearance. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/The King of Hell is Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. But, can anyone tell me that the man in front of me, who is peeling grapes for my Miss and is pushed away by my Miss with detest, is really the cruel and bloodthirsty King of Hell in the legend? Uncle Shi-san, why are you here? Did Mom's bad master come to ask for alcohol again? A little pink pig suddenly rushed in front of him, biting a chicken leg and saying angrily, "Go back and tell that bad old man, the wine and food all belong to Little Egg, he is not allowed to steal from me." Shi-san smiled, his face was so stiff as if it was petrified. At this time, He finally noticed the existence of Shi-san. She looked up and waved at him. How did Nayland Mansion react? Shi-san regained his thought abruptly, and he quickly stepped forward to report to He. He had already asked Chen Bai, one of Gu Liufeng's original subordinates, to secretly deploy manpower at the Nayland Mansion to monitor their every move. When Shi-san sent medicinal pills to Nayland Zhengze, he also contacted Chen Bai along the way. Therefore, he naturally brought back news of Nayland Mansion. Shi-san finished talking tremblingly, and he saw He's mouth slightly pursed, revealing a half-smile. At this time, His Royal Highness King of Hell was taking a piece of pastry to Miss, and she ate it naturally. The little cake stain on the corner of her mouth was even carefully wiped clean by King of Hell. Shi-san turned his head in shock. He saw the guards beside King of Hell were already accustomed to it, they didn't feel strange at all. God! That's King of Hell. What is Miss' identity? She can even let King of Hell feed her. Qing Wan by the side said in a puzzle at this moment, "Princess, since the little young master has been rescued, shouldn't we just kill Nayland Mansion and avenge the little young master? Why bother to do so many tricks to waste time with the group of trashes in Nayland Mansion?" He titled up the corner of her mouth, and she said with gloomy eyes, "The Murong Mansion incident has made me fear a little. Behind the noble families in Yanjing City, it seems that there are treacherous forces behind them in secret. Especially the array in the Nayland Zhengze study room. It let me have a bad omen." Once we alerted the enemies, it might make Naelanjungsa fight back in desperate. It may even alarm the people behind them, letting them taking precautions. It's better to push the Naelan family into desperation bit by bit, but also let them think they still have the hope of counterattack. In this way, it's easier to get more information from them. What's more, Heshi's gaze fell on her little brother who was playing with the 4 little ones. Seeing his innocent smiling face, there was a trace of pity and cold hatred in her eyes. They harmed Xiaoqi so much. If I just let their whole family die like that, isn't that making it too easy for them? The abuses and humiliations that my brother and I suffered over the years, can it be repaid by just death? What I want is their reputation being totally ruined, letting them suffer a living hell. There was one more point, but Heshi didn't say it. That was, she still had too many doubts about the identities of Naelan Heshi and Xiaoqi who is in Lingyue. If she is just an ordinary concubine, why would Naelanjungsa care so much about what she left behind? And who is Xiaoqi and my biological father? What is the powerful force sealed in Xiaoqi's body? I must dig out all these from Naelanjungsa's mouth. Qingyuan nodded immediately when she heard the words. She pulled Shisan aside to discuss how to make Naelan family even more unlucky. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the king of hell is genius pampered wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Heshi then asked Shisan, if there is any abnormality in the Naelan mansion, let Chenbai report to me immediately. After planning for so long, I don't want to miss the good show. Shisan nodded quickly, and he couldn't help but glance back with a confused face. His Royal Highness King of Hell, who was rumored to kill people like flies, was reaching out his hand and gently stroking his missed cheek. His eyes filled with pampering and pity. Princess. Princess. It turns out that King of Hell likes our miss. From now on, our miss will be the King of Hell's wife. God, that's the King of Hell. Wouldn't I be the manager of the King of Hell mansion in the future? Shisen felt that his footsteps floating even more. His hands and legs were moving at the same time. He stumbled from time to time, making Qingyuan look back at him frequently. After Heshi sent away Shisan, she continued to study her prescription. Besides, Nangongyu was intimate with her enough. He also asked people to bring the official tasks of the King of Hell mansion here, and he handled them right beside her. Heshi raised her head occasionally. Looking at the man working seriously beside her, she couldn't help being moved. This time, I really fell for it. She could feel the throbbing in her heart. She would miss when she didn't see him, she would be happy when she sees him, she couldn't wait to be always with him. When she saw him getting close to another woman, she would feel annoyed, her heart would throb when seeing his serious working face. Nangongyu, in this unfamiliar and dangerous world, can I really stay with this man? I surely can, right? This day was the day when Naelan Feishua brought her new husband Zhu Zhongba back to her home, but there was no festive atmosphere in the entire Naelan mansion. For Naelan family, Zhu family was definitely not a good relative, not to mention that the miss of the Naelan family was married to Zhu Zhongba who was stupid like a pig. In this marriage, there were so many people laughing at the Naelan family for disgracing themselves. Although the Ouyang family was now destroyed, compared to the young and talented Ouyang Haoshuan, Zhu Zhongba was really unworthy as compared to Ouyang Haoshuan. When Naelan family detested Ouyang Haoshuan whose meridian was broken, they cancelled the engagement with the Ouyang family. But now they married their baby daughter to Zhu Zhongba who already had a dozen of concubines. This was really a joke. So for Naelanjungsa, no matter who married, as long as the Naelan family was marrying the Zhu family, he wouldn't be happy. As for Mrs. Naelan, she was very excited. But she was just excited to laugh at Naelan Heshi. She patiently prepared the bridal chamber for her. In the main hall, the Naelan family's master and madam and Naelan Yurong were sitting in their seats, looking anxiously at the door. The butler had just come to report that the new son-in-law was bringing his new wife home. Sure enough, after a while, Zhu Zhongba's plump figure appeared at the entrance of the main hall. He was still wearing a new red dress, and his face was full of vitality. Even his eyes were smiling triumphantly. It was just that his body was too fat. The groom's red dress on him did not only look brave, but he looked more like a roasted pig, which was really ridiculous. After stepping in, Zhu Zhongba was about to step forward to salute Nailan Zhengzi, realizing that the person behind him hadn't followed up. He immediately turned around and pulled. He yelled, "What are you dilly-dallying for? Father-in-law and mother-in-law are still waiting for me to kowtow to them." Under this pull, a woman's figure appeared immediately behind Zhu Zhongba. It was just that compared to Zhu Zhongba's vigorous face, the woman looked a lot dejected. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/The King of Hell's Genius Pampered Wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. A woman dressed in a red dress, but her hair was a little. I saw that she was wearing a scarlet dress, but her hair was a little messy. Her steps were staggering, and her hands were still tied to her chest by a thin natural silk. As she was pulled by Zhu Zhongba, she staggered and almost fell to the ground, making a low sob. When Mrs. Nailan saw the miserable appearance of the woman behind Zhu Zhongba, she was immediately exasperated. She subconsciously stood up and took a few steps forward. When Zhu Zhongba saw her, he didn't mean to be too respectful. He just cupped his fist and sneered, "Greetings to mother-in-law." Mrs. Nailan had no time to chat with this fat pig. She waved her hand excitedly and said, "Quickly take Nailan he. Quickly bring the bride up to me. Let me see how miserable the bitch looks." Zhu Zhongba thought that Mrs. Nailan missed the bride. He immediately pulled the natural silk in his hand, and exclaimed, "Have you not heard the way your mother-in-law calls you? Don't hurry up and lift up your head." Mrs. Nailan excitedly watched the bride shivered violently, then the bride slowly raised her head. This was a beautiful and charming face, but at this moment, this face was haggard and sad, her eyes looked blurred and scared. There was a wound on her forehead, but it was treated with some ointment. The corners of her mouth were covered with bruises. It seemed unspeakable miserable. But, if this face was not the second Miss Nailan Feishue from the Nailan mansion, who would she be? When Mrs. Nailan saw this face, she couldn't help being stiff, and then she screamed, Feishue. Hearing the words Feishue, Nailan Feishue's originally dilated pupils slowly focused. When she saw her mother, she finally couldn't help crying out, "Mother! Mother! Help me! Save me! Mother! I'm Feishue, impossible! How is this possible?" Mrs. Nailan rushed up crazily, grabbing Nailan Feishue's face and pulling her to the side. "You lie to me, you must be lying to me. Is that bitch Nailan Heshi pretending to be you?" "Ah, mother, I'm Feishue. I'm really Feishue." Nailan Feishue desperately avoided Mrs. Nailan's tugging and cried out loudly, "Mother, it's all because of Nailan Heshi. She framed me and made me fall into this situation. She is a devil. Devil. Mother, you must save me." Mrs. Nailan took a step back staggeringly, and the bun on her head was loosened by the violent movement. At this time, she was like a crazy woman. Her eyes were bloodshot, and her body was shaking. She kept mumbling, "No. No way. This is absolutely impossible. It should be Nailan Heshi who was married. Why would it be Feishue? Why is it my baby girl Feishue?" Zhu Zhongba understood the conversation between the two persons even though he was stupid. The thought that he almost married the devil, Nailan Heshi, he couldn't help being afraid for a while. Although this Nailan Feishue was also arrogant at first, she became honest after being punished by his father. Moreover, Nailan Feishue's appearance was so delicate and beautiful, her body was soft and white. She was even prettier than his concubines. He wasn't done with playing her yet. Thinking of this, Zhu Zhongba pulled the natural silk in his hand and snorted coldly, "Mother-in-law, what do you mean by this? I obviously have an engagement with Fei Xue, but you guys wanted to marry the third miss to me? Humph, aren't you afraid that I will report this to the sixth prince and the crown prince for deceiving them? Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the king of Hela's genius pampered wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Nalan Fei Xue was bound by the natural silk, so she couldn't help herself. As soon as Zhu Zhongba pulled her, she fell into his fat embrace. Zhu Zhongba laughed, humiliating her indifferently. He pinched her plump chest, then he said condescendingly, however, now that I married Nalan Fei Xue, I'll forget it. However, since Fei Xue has married my family, she is a member of my Zhu family. In the future, I think she should go back to the Nalan family lesser. Ah! No, I don't want. Nalan Fei Xue shouted as she pushed away Zhu Zhongba, rushing toward Nalan Zhengze and Nalan Yurong. Father, save me. I don't want to go back to the Zhu family. That is not a place for people to stay. They beat me up, and even sealed my cultivation. I also heard Zhu Yichun said that he wanted to treat me like a furnace to let Zhu Zhongba absorb my vitality. This can be referred to the arts of chamber. Father, I'm Fei Xue. I'm your most beloved daughter, not the bitch Nalan Heshi. Please save me, elder sister, please save me. Please master, let the Zhu family issue the divorce. Elder sister, I'm begging you, woo. Nalan Yurong looked at the desperate and embarrassed sister who was kneeling in front of him and crying. Her face also looked terribly gloomy, and she almost bit her teeth until bleeding. Nalan Heshi, I actually underestimated you. Nalan Fei Xue hugged Nalan Yurong's feet and cried loudly, elder sister, please, please help me. Nalan Yurong took a deep breath, and she pushed her sister's hand lightly. She said lightly, Fei Xue, stop making trouble, for whatever reason, you are now married to Zhu family's young master, and you have become his woman. In that case, you better go back with Master Zhu obediently. Don't make a big fuss outside, lest you lose the face of our Nalan family. What did you say? Nalan Fei Xue's eyes widened suddenly, and she stepped back in disbelief. She murmured over and over again in her mouth, elder sister, are you lying to me? You are lying to me, right? I'm your sister of the same father and mother. You used to love me the most. How could you say that? Nalan Yurong sneered and looked at her condescendingly. There was a hint of contempt in her eyes. Fei Xue, you can only blame yourself for being stupid. You have been framed by Nalan Heshi again and again. Even my perfect plan has a flaw now. Since that's the case, you should just accept your fate. After all, you are already young Master Zhu's woman. Zhu Zhongba was both delighted and proud when he heard this. He laughed and said, the elder sister is really righteous. No wonder everyone praises you as the most dazzling jewel of the Nalan family. Fei Xue and I have long had intimate contact. She is my Zhu family's legitimate wife. My father has instructed me to bring her back so that I can love her move. Ha ha ha. Nalan Fei Xue shook her head desperately, looking at her magnificent elder sister, but her heart was full of strangeness. The contemptuous and cold eyes made her fearful and injured heart riddled with holes. Nalan Fei Xue rushed in front of Nalan Zhengze, crying loudly, Father, father, save me. I'm your daughter. Nalan Zhengze frowned and said sternly, what are you crying for? It should be a festive day for your return. Look at your crying face, how ugly is that? Do you want our Nalan family to be a laughingstock again? From the far gate, someone was already looking into the main hall. Please go to https://www.qzxyzy.com/the king of Hela's genius pampered wife/ to read the latest chapters for free. Despair surged in Nalan Fei Xue's heart, and these former dear relatives in front of her became so unfamiliar to her. In the past, she thought that she was being loved the most, but now in the moment of interest, these relatives, who loved her previously, pushed her back to hell without hesitation. Nalan Jingza coughed and said, Zhongba, Fei Xue is my daughter after all, the second miss of my Nalan family. You must treat her well, otherwise our Nalan family will never forgive you. Although this was a threat, it showed no confidence at all. Zhu Zhongba chuckled and said, my father-in-law, don't worry, as long as Fei Xue doesn't make trouble, I can't wait to love her. How could I abuse her? Fei Xue, don't you think so? Nalan Fei Xue raised her head and met Zhu Zhongba's lewd smile, and her body trembled violently. She still clearly remembered the disgusting fat man who stripped her clothes last night, dripped hot candle oil on her body, and whipped her with a whip. Ah! Such a living hell, I don't want to continue it even if I die. Mother! Mother! Nalan Fei Xue could only look back for the mother who loved her most. Mother, you must save me. Since Mrs. Nalan just discovered the identity of Nalan Fei Xue, she sat there obediently as if her soul was lost. Hearing Nalan Fei Xue's call at this time, her body trembled suddenly. After that, her eyes turned white, and the corners of her mouth began to salivate. Her body trembled like she was having a seizure. Without waiting for Nalan Fei Xue to speak, she suddenly violently rushed toward Nalan Fei Xue. Bitch, Nalan Heshi, you bitch, you dare to frame my daughter. I will kill you. I will kill you. Mother, mother, it's me, mother, Nalan Fei Xue kept yelling, but Mrs. Nalan couldn't hear her at all. She was completely crazy, unleashing her craziness at someone. Nalan Yurong had to knock Mrs. Nalan out helplessly and let the servant tie up Mrs. Nalan with a rope. Nalan Yurong looked at Nalan Fei Xue, whose face was scratched at one side. Fei Xue, you are so ignorant. You know that your mother has an old illness. I asked the master to use medicine to suppress it, but you stimulated mother because of that little things, triggering her disease again. If mother never gets better, can you take the responsibility? Nalan Jingza also frowned, his face was gloomy. He cupped his fist at Zhu Zhongba and said, something has happened in my mansion, sorry for letting Zhongba seeing such a joke. Why don't we cancel the banquet today? You bring Fei Xue home first. A few days later, I will invite you and Fei Xue again. Zhu Zhongba couldn't wait to say goodbye to the people of Nalan Mansion. Seeing that they didn't care about Nalan Fei Xue's life or death, he was overjoyed. He dragged Nalan Fei Xue and said, then we will leave first. Father, mother, elder sister, save me. Save me. When being dragged away by Zhu Zhongba and the guards of the Zhu mansion, Nalan Fei Xue was still crying for help. However, at this time her voice was already full of despair and resentment. Nalan Mansion, Nalan Jingza, Nalan Yurong, they all abandoned her. After being thrown into the carriage by Zhu Zhongba, Nalan Fei Xue's head hit the carriage wall heavily. Zhu Zhongba immediately rushed to tear her clothes and shouted, little bitch, have you given up now? No one from the Nalan family will step up for you. From now on, I can do whatever I want with you, ha ha ha. The sounds that couldn't be concealed came out from the carriage, but the servants of the Zhu family had long been accustomed to it. The pedestrians on both sides of the road couldn't help pointing at the carriage and gossiping. I heard that it is the young master of the Zhu family and the second miss of the Nalan mansion. Today is the day they return home after newly married. Oh, but even newly married can't be so shameless. This is on the street, Zhu, I really don't know what Nalan family is thinking. Sticking a flower into the cow dung. In the carriage, Nalan Fei Xue closed her eyes, and tears streaming down her eyes. Her hands were clenched into fists, and her nails were deeply embedded in her flesh. Her hands were bleeding out, but she didn't notice anything. At this moment, she hated Nalan Yurong and Nalan Jingza even more than Nalan Heshi. Nalan Heshi is my enemy. I wanted to harm Nalan Heshi, and Nalan Heshi wanted to harm me, this is understandable. But, Nalan Yurong, she is my elder sister. Nalan Jingza is my biological father. How could they be so cruel? How can they abandon me just like that? Nalan Feishua gritted her teeth, revealing a hideous twisted smile at the corner of her mouth. At this time, Heshi had already returned to Xinu house and decided to complete her finishing work at Nalan Mansion. Qing Wan set up the tea set, cooked the tea skillfully, poured the tea, and finally handed the teacup to Heshi's hand. Heshi took a sip and couldn't help but praise, "Qing Wan, your tea art is really getting better and better. I'm used to the tea you make, and I can't drink ordinary tea anymore." Qing Wan was immediately delighted. "Compared to Miss' cooking skills, I'm far behind. If Miss doesn't dislike it, I will stay with Miss forever and make tea for you." Heshi pursed her mouth and said, "You're the confidant guard carefully trained by King of Hell Mansion. If you just follow me to be a tea master, isn't that too wasteful?" Qing Wan immediately shook her head again and again, "No at all, not a waste at all. I'm willing to follow you." "As long as you don't," Heshi laughed and said, "you sound like you are my maid. Nangong Yu is your master, right? Sooner or later, Miss will marry into the King of Hell Mansion and become the princess." Qing Wan took it for granted. "I'm master's maid, and of course I'm also Miss Maid." Heshi blushed and said proudly, "Bah, who said I will marry Nangong Yu, that rascal?" She remembered someone's hot breath in her ears last night. The hoarse voice, that seemed to be able to catch fire, whispered in her ear, "Sheer, if you don't marry me soon, I'm afraid I can't restrain myself from eating you up before getting married." The ending was of course someone being kicked out of bed by her. But now thinking of someone's fiery embrace and the look in his eyes as if to swallow her into his stomach, she couldn't help but feel palpitations. Qing Wan didn't say anything. In her opinion, the only one who could be worthy of her master in this world was Miss, and the only one who could be worthy of Miss was naturally her master. The two are a match made in heaven, how can they not be together? Heshi took out a few exquisite refreshments from the void and greeted Qing Wan and Mai Xiang to eat together. She suddenly said as if she thought of something, "Qing Wan, Mai Xiang, why not I teach you two how to cook spiritual food when I'm free a few days later?" "Me, Miss, I can learn." Mai Xiang was trembling with excitement, and her voice stuttered. Qing Wan was also overjoyed. She had eaten Heshi's foods several times. The foods were so delicious that even the top spirit chefs couldn't cook. Even my master, Bai Hu, Wu Yu and others are looking forward to Miss Foods every day. But, with such top-notch cooking skills, Miss is willing to teach us so simply? Heshi said disapprovingly, "What can't you learn? If you two learn it, then in the future, my master, Wu Yu, Bai Hu, and the other guys come to ask for food, you can help me deal with them." When she first came to Miluo continent, her cooking skills were also taught by Mammy Chen and Shaoli. It was just that things had changed. Mammy Chen was dead. Although Shaoli was still alive, her cultivation was lost. She was now busy cultivating, so her cooking skills were also lost. Mai Xiang and Qing Wan, one was clever and the other was calm and wise, and they were clever in handling daily tasks, so it was just nice to let them learn the cooking skills. Heshi smiled and looked at the two, "Are you two willing to learn?" "Yes. Yes. Of course I do." Mai Xiang and Qing Wan nodded desperately, and Mai Xiang's tears dropped with excitement. "Miss, it's really great for me to meet you." Oh, Heshi was so dumbfounded by these two little girls. As she wanted to order Mai Xiang to not bother her, her expression looked stern. "Someone is coming." Mai Xiang stopped crying immediately. She stood up and walked to the room. Her cultivation was low, staying here would only cause trouble for Heshi. Qing Wan stood beside Heshi and whispered, "Miss, is it the people from the Nalan family?" Heshi took a sip of tea and smiled slowly, "Someone is here to settle the score." Not long after she spoke, the door of Xinu house was smashed open. Nalan Yurong appeared at the entrance of Xinu house, followed by several martial artists from Meridian stage. Mrs. Nalan with messy hair and bloodshot eyes was there too. Seeing Heshi, Nalan Yurong's pupils shrank suddenly. Her eyes were filled with jealousy. "Nalan Heshi, you are still here. He put down the teacup and smiled delightedly. Elder sister is really weird. If I'm not here, where should I be? Nalan Yurong gritted her teeth and stared at her fiercely. Nalan He, you are just an illegitimate child of unknown origin. You have no outstanding appearance and talent. You should have been trampled in the mud. How dare you show off in front of us? Have you forgotten how you knelt in front of the servants of the Nalan family and begged them to give you a bowl of rice? A person like you, do you think you are worthy of His Royal Highness King of Hell? I asked you to marry the Zhu family to replace Fei Xue. It was originally a way for you to survive. Who knew that you would seek the hard way? He sneered and said, what kind of talent does elder sister think is worthy of King of Hell? Are you, elder sister, mentioning yourself? What a pity, I remember that King of Hell beat up elder sister in front of everyone, and he even said that you are ugly. It has only been a few days, did elder sister forget about it? Bitch, you shut up. Speaking of this, Nalan Yurong could no longer maintain her noble appearance, and she raised the volume and shouted in anger, you bitch, you caused Fei Xue to marry that fat pig, Zhu Zhongba, and you seduced King of Hell, causing him to misunderstand me. I will never let you go. Standing aside, Mrs. Nalan, whose eyes were still somewhat distracted, heard Nalan Yurong's sentence, you caused Fei Xue to marry that fat pig, Zhu Zhongba, and immediately recovered. Her bloodshot eyes stared at He, and she suddenly screamed and rushed toward her, it's you who framed my Fei Xue. Nalan He, I will kill you to revenge for my Fei Xue. Ah! However, before she rushed to He, Mrs. Nalan was kicked flying by Qing Yuan. Although Qing Yuan didn't add spiritual power to her feat, the strength was extremely high, and Mrs. Nalan had a very low level of cultivation. In addition, her body was weak due to repeated troublesome incidents. She flew to the wall, spouting a lot of blood. Nalan Yurong's eyes widened. She couldn't believe that Nalan He actually allowed her maid to beat Mrs. Nalan. Mrs. Nalan was now unconscious. She didn't want to bring her over here initially. But thinking of Mrs. Nalan's identity as He's stepmother, she still asked Mrs. Nalan to take the pill to suppress the madness and bring her over. However, she didn't expect Nalan He to be so bold. She raised her eyebrows, pointed at He, and shouted sharply, Nalan He, are you crazy? She is your stepmother. You allow your maid to beat your stepmother. Are you not afraid of being condemned by God for if offending and disobeying the elder? He looked at her disdainfully, you, Nalan Yurong, are not afraid of being condemned by God for doing all the bad things, why should I be afraid of? Nalan Yurong felt a little thump in her heart. What did Nalan He know? Did she know that when I was young, I caught a lot of innocent people to test medicine in order to learn how to refine the Shui Jia pill taught by Master? Or did she know I committed the incident that Mammy Chen's cultivation was ruined for being wronged harming her master? Nalan Yurong was shocked. When she saw He's half-smiling face, she burst into anger. Nalan He, what nonsense are you talking about? Don't think that you can sit back and relax with King of Hell supporting you. A strong murderous intent flashed in her eyes, and she coldly looked at the shameless girl in front of her. Nalan He, if you die in this Xianyu house, I will strip off your clothes and put you together with the corpse of the servants. By the time, I will tell the people of King of Hell Mansion that you, slutty bitch, commit adultery with the servants, and you commit suicide due to shame for being caught on the spot. Do you really think Kingo of Hell Mansion will retrieve a dirty corpse by then? He said, oh, looked at Nalan Yurong with a half-smile, raised her eyebrows, and said, does elder sister want to kill me? You can try it. Nalan Yurong's eyes shrank and she waved her hand. The Meridian stage martial artists behind her immediately rushed up and charged toward He fiercely. But how would Qing Yuan let them succeed? The long sword in her hand was launched, and her figure flew up. Clang! She alone blocked the attacks of several Meridian stage martial artists. Nalan Yurong looked at Qing Yuan's terrifying skills and frowned fiercely. When she looked at Nalan Heshi again, she was already full of jealousy. This maid is also given to you by King of Hell, right? The people of King of Hell Mansion are really powerful. However, one person can't fight with numerous people. Nalan Heshi, now no one can save you. Die now. As soon as Nalan Yurong spoke, her spiritual power spiked, the power of the Meridian stage burst out. In an instant, a huge water snake rose into the sky and rushed toward Heshi. Heshi watched as the oncoming turbulent water snake, and she was about to make a move, but there was a small black figure appeared in front of her suddenly. Little Golden Dragon's cocky voice could be heard, "Boss, it's not your turn to deal with this kind of character, let me deal with her." As it said, it suddenly shot out a fire dragon. Although the fire dragon was not big, it completely evaporated the water snake when it wrapped around the water snake. Nalan Yurong's face was full of shock. Didn't they say that Nalan Heshi has no cultivation? Then how can she subdue spiritual pet? To subdue a high-level spiritual, when signing a contract, it is easy to be backfired by the contract, making the martial artist seriously hurt. Nalan Heshi doesn't have any cultivation, how can she subdue the spiritual pet? Could it be that His Royal Highness King of Hell helped her? When he thought of this, Nalan Yurong's beautiful face was distorted. Everything in her heart and mind was replaced by hatred. How can Nalan Heshi, a bitch, be favored by the King of Hell? Why is it not me, Nalan Yurong? How am I incomparable to Nalan Heshi? After the water snake was put out, Little Golden Dragon triumphantly waved its tail at Heshi. "Boss, am I good?" As soon as it spoke, the other two also popped out of the void. The first one who came out was Little Dumb Cow. It had always been dumb and silly. When it came out of the void, it didn't maintain its balance well, and it directly fell with its head touching the ground first. With short hooves swaying in mid-air, he took a long time to roll over and get up. However, before he could stand firm, he saw a pink piglet falling from the sky and banging on it again, directly using him as a cushion. Little Egg raised his head, met Heshi's gaze, and immediately said with a cute smile, "Mom, we're here to help you." As he said, he stood up quickly and grinned at Nalan Yurong in front of him. "Really annoying, there are so many old women in this place. You all are obviously old and ugly, but you still covet my daddy. Such a character like you, how can you be comparable to my mom? You aren't even worthy of holding my mom's shoes." Humph. Little Dumb Cow crawled up in a stagger, trying to learn from Little Egg and staring at Nalan Yurong. But it was born with a pair of small green bean eyes, no matter how it glared, it didn't have any deterrence. It made it look more silly instead, making people couldn't help but want to laugh. Little Golden Dragon wagged his tail in the air and said, "What are you two guys doing? Didn't you see how handsome I just appeared? You two's stupid look has just ruined my just handsome image. Go back, quickly go back." Heshi touched her forehead. "Little dragon, do you think your dumb and cute Tyrannosaurus look is much better than them? I don't want to." Little Egg held his little paw and said angrily, "I also want to help my mother beat the bad guys. You are not allowed to drive us back, Little Dragon, or I won't play with you in the future." Only then the Little Golden Dragon shut up dejectedly, but he still couldn't help mumbling, "Then you guys don't hold me back, I finally got a chance to perform in front of the boss." Nalan Yurong looked at Heshi's three little pets, who were dumb and young. She couldn't see the slightest spiritual power fluctuations all over her body. Suddenly, she changed from shock to ridicule. "You see, what kind of owner will have what kind of pets? A bunch of waste. Today, I will let you see what is a real spiritual pet." After speaking, Nalan Yurong made a seal on her left hand, and a majestic black panther appeared beside her instantly. Heshi recognized at a glance, this was a rank 4 magical beast, and it was also the Black Mountain Panther that was rather powerful among the rank 4 magical beasts. Its specialty was fast speed and mastered wind and thunder element spells. As soon as the Black Panther appeared, it immediately roared in Heshi's direction with murderous intent in its eyes. Little Egg covered his nose and complained, "It smells so smelly. Really, what kind of owner will have what kind of spiritual pet? Never mind, the master is so old and ugly, even her spiritual pet is so stinky. Carrying such a stinky pet, aren't you afraid of being stunk to death?" Little Golden Dragon also sneezed. He said disgustingly, "It's so stinky, let's get rid of it quickly, so as not to make our nose suffer." Little Dumb Cow was silly. Seeing that Little Egg and Little Golden Dragon were covering their noses, it slowly stretched out its paws to cover its nose too. A word came out of its mouth, "Stinky." Little Dumb Cow opened its mind later than Little Egg and Little Golden Dragon. It was only after being Heshi's spiritual pet and drinking the 9th secluded spirit spring, it gradually gained a little wisdom. It could speak a few words now. Of course, compared to the talkative Little Egg and Little Golden Dragon, it was totally incomparable. Nalan Yurong was trembling all over by their disgusting words. She waved her hand at the Black Panther and said angrily, "Tear all these wastes to pieces for me." After the Black Panther got the order, its figure instantly turned into lightning, rushing toward the 3 little ones. There was a gust of wind in the room, and there was also the crackling sound of thunder and lightning. The Black Panther was already agile, and with the acceleration of wind and thunder and lightning, it was as fast as lightning. Seeing that the 3 little ones were too late to react and were about to be torn to pieces by the Black Panther, Nalan Yurong smiled triumphantly. However, the next moment, her smile froze at the corner of her mouth. There was only a loud bang in her ear. The Black Panther's figure in the air was suddenly bounced away. The huge Black Panther slammed into the shelf, and the things on the shelf fell to pieces. The Black Panther also convulsed on the ground. It got up in a stagger after a while, but its sobbing sound was full of pain. On the side of the 3 little ones, Little Dumb Cow used the protective shield to knock the panther away. Only now it reacted with hindsight. In fact, it activated its protective shield with its instinct. It didn't intend to use such a rough method to punish the Black Panther. Little Dumb Cow was depressed, but Little Egg ran over and touched its head. He praised him like an adult, "Little Cow, good job." Little Dumb Cow suddenly turned from sad to joy. It had a happy face, which made Little Golden Dragon feel depressed. Nalan Yurong was stunned. They are obviously just 3 palm-size pets without spiritual power fluctuations. Why can they knock back my spiritual pet? My Black Mountain Panther is the spiritual pet of the peak of the rank 4 magical beasts. Ordinary Meridian stage martial artists are definitely not its opponent. Nalan Yurong stared at the Black Mountain Panther on the side and screamed, "Get up now. If you don't punish them, I won't let you go after we go back." The Black Mountain Panther whimpered. Its body trembled, then it had to cast the gale again and rushed toward the 3 little ones. This time, Little Golden Dragon stopped in front of Little Egg and Little Dumb Cow. When the Black Mountain Panther rushed to his front, he released his powerful dragon demeanor. The dragon and the phoenix were the kings of the beasts, the golden flying dragon was even the high-rank noble among the dragons. Wherever the dragon goes, all beasts will prostrate and worship the dragon. The Black Mountain Panther's body suddenly stopped in the air and began to tremble violently. Afterward, it seemed to be possessed. It slowly bent its knees, crawling in front of the Little Golden Dragon and making a murmur of surrendering sound. Little Golden Dragon was very satisfied with the dragon demeanor he released for the first time after being reborn. He flew a little forward and landed beside the Black Panther. He then said while looking up proudly, "You're a magical beast in the mountains, why follow this vicious and shameless woman and let her use you? You even help her to do evil things." The Black Mountain Panther made a whining sound as if telling something wronged and unwilling. Little Golden Dragon nodded twice as if showing kindness. "Well, since you are not willing, I will help you to get out of the possession of this woman." After speaking, he stretched out his paw, secretly bit one of his scales, then stuffed it into the Black Mountain Panther's mouth. As the scale entered the Black Mountain Panther's body, the Black Mountain Panther suddenly let out a long and stern cry. The black hairs all over its body erected. The next moment, the Black Mountain Panther jumped up into the sky, turned around, and stared at Nalan Yurong with a fierce look. At this moment, the majestic Black Panther in front of her was no longer her obedient pet, but a fierce beast that wanted to take her life. Nalan Yurong's eyes widened in horror, watching the scene before her in disbelief. She hadn't seen the action of little golden dragon just now, so she couldn't understand why the little dragon just said a few words, and her pet panther rebelled against her. It even looked like wanting to eat her up. However, the Black Mountain Panther did not rush toward Nalan Yurong, but it turned around and whimpered twice to the little golden dragon. It then broke through the roof, rose into the air, and disappeared in the sky. Come back! Nalan Yurong screamed, "You're my spiritual pet. Master helped me to subdue you with difficulty, how can you run away? You beast, come back now." What responded to her was the falling tiles from the roof and the whistling wind as if mocking her for her stupidity and ignorance. Little Egg looked at little golden dragon admiringly. His big eyes were gleaming. "Little dragon, what did that stinky big panther say to you? You can actually understand the animal language. You are as good as Sister Xiaoli." Little golden dragon grabbed his dragon horns suddenly and laughed, "I don't understand. I just fooled the big black guy, but I didn't expect him to fall for it so easily. It must be that old woman is too annoying. That big black guy wanted to leave a long time ago. It just so happened that today I was kind and gave him a chance." The scales of the golden flying dragon had a powerful dragon demeanor. If the low-rank magical beasts consume it, it could strengthen the beast's aura in a short time and restrain the constraints of various arrays. Although the Black Mountain Panther had signed a master-servant contract with Nalan Yurong's cultivation was too low. In addition, she subdued the Black Mountain Panther with the help of the other, so it was unwilling. After it got the dragon scale, the Black Mountain Panther immediately got rid of the restraint of the master-servant contract and escaped. As soon as Little Egg heard that little golden dragon could not understand animal language, he rolled his eyes and turned around with detest to show his little butt. Little dumb cow also learned from him. It slowly turned around to show his butt to the little golden dragon. It made little golden dragon scream frantically, "Boss, look at them, it's too much. Boss, you quickly teach them a lesson." She face-palmed. She really had the illusion that she had opened a kindergarten to raise a group of problematic children. Nalan Yurong saw that her Black Mountain Panther's spiritual pet wasn't coming back, and her face was pale. She glared at Heshi, gritted her teeth, and slowly said, "Nalan Heshi, I think I have overestimated you again and again, but I didn't expect to underestimate you in the end." "But, do you think that with these funny pets, you can really escape from my hands? Stop dreaming." Heshi pushed aside the table, stood up, and said leisurely, "Who spares whose life, it's still uncertain yet." "Okay. Very good. I will let you know today what is to die without an intact corpse." Nalan Yurong took out a pure black magic weapon similar to a compass as she spoke. As spiritual power was injected into the magic artifact, a cloud of black mist slowly formed above her head. Then, it became larger and larger. With the appearance of the black cloud, the light in the entire room became dark. The air was also cold. The hole that was hit by the Black Mountain Panther was also filled by the black cloud. In the room, the black cloud shrouded everyone, including Heshi and Nalan Yurong. In the next moment, a patter of rain began to fall below the black cloud. However, what was frightening was that these raindrops were not transparent water, but black liquid. The servants of Nalan Mansion, who was fighting with Qing Wan, suddenly screamed horribly when they encountered the falling raindrops. As soon as their clothes touched the raindrops, they were completely corroded. And their skin, when it touched the raindrops, it made a sizzling noise as if it was burning. In just a few moments, these martial artists of the Meridian stage were wounded, and their bodies were covered with bloody holes corroded by the black rain. Miss, save me, save us. Give me the cure. Those people rushed toward Nalan Yurong. Although she was also in the rain seemed to be rejected by the compass in her hand and avoided her, so she had not suffered any damage so far. Seeing the miserable appearances of those servants calling for her help, Nalan Yurong didn't see the slightest pity in his eyes. She ruthlessly avoided the martial artists who rushed over and said coldly, "You can die under this, death rain disc, peerless magic weapons, it is your honor. You should rest in peace. Nalan Yurong, you vicious woman, we came here to help you." Nalan Yurong, how can you treat us this way? Nalan Yurong snorted, "After I smash Nalan Heshi into pieces, I will bury you all well. It is an honor for you all to die for me." After speaking, the compass in her hand turned abruptly, and the patter of rain suddenly became denser. Even Mrs. Nalan, who was overturned in a corner and unconscious, was also affected. It was just that she woke up in a muddle-headed manner, but she didn't seem to feel that half of her body was corroded by the rain at all. She even made a silly laughter. She had completely lost her mind. Qing Wan opened the defensive magic weapon at the first moment when she noticed that the rain had fallen, protecting Heshi and the three little ones under it. But seeing the horrible state of Nalan Yurong's guards, she still frowned. "Miss, this rain is indeed a bit powerful. I can already feel the magic weapon being corroded, and its spiritual power has become thinner and thinner. I'm afraid I can't hold for long. Miss, you run away first. I will stay here and run. I have, Death Rain Disc, in my hand, where can Nalan Heshi, a bitch, escape?" Ha 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 ha. Nalan Yurong laughed arrogantly. "Nalan Heshi, I advise you to stop struggling. The poison in this Death Rain Disc is mixed into the rain. It was refined by my master personally. So far, no one had survived after contacting this poison. So what if you use high-grade magic weapons to resist? This kind of poison can penetrate and corrode anything. It is just a matter of time that this magic weapon becomes a common item after its spirit being corroded." Nalan Yurong stared at Heshi closely, eager to see the expression of fear and pleading on her face. She continued, "People who have been poisoned will see their flesh and skin melt bit by bit. Even if you get one drop of it, it will spread non-stop until your whole body corrodes. You will die in horrible pain. Nalan Heshi, if you are afraid, it is better to kill yourself now, lest you die without an intact body." Ha ha ha. Heshi glanced at Mrs. Nalan on the side, raised her eyebrows, and said, "Your own mother has also been poisoned by this virulent poison. Are you not afraid of her poison spreading and die?" Nalan Yurong snorted, her eyes full of disgust. "Now this Nalan family is not a help to me, but a burden. I'm a disciple of Master Shukong and a member of the Doctors' Association. If people know that my mother is a lunatic, how can I gain a foothold in the Doctors' Association in the future? Not to mention, my sister even married a stupid pig. They will only hinder me, When I get Juku Lingshan Pill's prescription, Nalan family doesn't need to exist anymore. Tell me, will I care about the life and death of a crazy woman?" Even Qing Wan was ruthless. She was stunned by the selfishness and indifference of Nalan Yurong. For the sake of her own future, this woman completely disregards the life and death of her mother and sister. Such a woman even dares to think of marrying my master, and it is disgusting to hear it. Nalan Yurong glanced at Qing Wan's magic weapon that was being corroded more and more, and she couldn't help laughing. "Nalan Heshi, I see how long you can hold on. I'll stand here, waiting to see your pitiful scarred body." "Oh, is it?" Heshi raised the corner of her mouth, and her eyes were filled with disdain. She said slowly, "It's just a mere heart-corroding mushroom, 1,000 gold vine, poison arrow weed, the poison that is configured, wants to kill me." "Ha, Nalan Yurong, are you looking down on others too much, or are you too stupid?" What? Nalan Yurong's eyes widened in disbelief. How do you know that?" Before she finished speaking, Heshi took out a bottle of powder and gave it to Little Golden Dragon. Little Golden Dragon smiled immediately after hearing Heshi's words. It swallowed the medicine powder, then it started spraying water against the black cloud. After a while, the black cloud was still black, but the raindrops had turned into a transparent color, and there was no more corrosive effect. Nalan Yurong felt that there was no more corrosive toxicity in the falling rain, and she couldn't help screaming, "What did you do?" He looked at her disdainfully with a faint smile. "Can't you see what I have done? You dare to use this little trick to embarrass yourself? You even say that no one can explain it. Hee, the legendary Master Shukong is just so. Nalan Yurong couldn't believe her eyes. Is this ugly woman in front of me really Nalan He? Isn't she a coward and incompetent trash that let others trample on her? Why can she crack the poison made by my master? When did Nalan He become so scary? Nalan Yurong suddenly remembered that she heard her father and Nalan Ziyun secretly discussing several times, saying that they must get some kind of relic from Nalan He. Could it be that the relic made that trash, Nalan He, so powerful? Perhaps His Royal Highness King of Hell would look at this bitch differently because he wanted to get the relic in her hands. Thinking of this, Nalan Yurong couldn't help but get excited. If I get the relic in Nalan He's hand, does it mean that His Royal Highness King of Hell will look at me differently? Nalan Yurong took a deep breath, put away Death Rain disc, and looked straight at He. Nalan He, you were still a trash a year ago, but now you can even cure my master's poison. Tell me honestly, is there any treasure in your hands? He looked at her as if she was looking at an idiot. What are you? You think I'll do as you ask? Nalan Yurong's face was distorted for a while. What she hated most was Nalan He's indifferent and contemptuous eyes, like she didn't put her in her eyes at all. I'm Nalan Yurong, the proudest son of the Nalan family. How can Nalan He look down on me? How? Nalan Yurong gritted her teeth and said fiercely, "Sister, let me give you an advice. It's best not to use the little bit of chips in your hand to show off your power. You think, with your half-year experience in the poisoning method, you can compare with my master? If I'm serious, you can't even fight back. If you are sensible, hand over the treasure in your hand, and I can still let you die with an intact corpse. Otherwise? He chuckled lightly. Elder sister might as well take out all your trump cards, third sister really wants to try them. According to the rumors, Master Shukong should have represented the pinnacle of the Miluo continent's doctor community, right? What He said was not bluffing. She really wanted to see how good this another world medicine and poison master was. Good. Since you are looking for death, then I will fulfill you. As soon as Nalan Yurong spoke, the Death Rain disc appeared in her hand again, and it was spinning quickly. It was just that this time it was not black clouds that appeared, but blood-red thunderclouds the size of a fist. The thunderclouds floated in the air with crackling noises one by one, and the air was faintly filled with a bloody and foul smell. As the thunderclouds contacted a table in Xinu house, a ping-pong noise sounded. Immediately afterward, the table seemed to have been burnt down by fire, turning into powder in the blink of an eye. Qing Wan next to He took a deep breath and murmured, "This is Beauty Melt Bone, one of Miluo continent's top poisons." It is said that as long as it is a martial artist who has not reached the nascent soul stage, one drop is enough to kill the martial artist. His bones and flesh will shrink quickly, then he will turn to ashes in a short time. Nalan Yurong laughed when she heard Qing Wan's words. You are quite knowledgeable. This is one of the most powerful poisons developed by the Doctors Association. I didn't want to use this to deal with you. It's not because Beauty Melt Bone is rare and precious, but Beauty Melt Bone let you die too quickly and comfortably. I really don't want that to happen. Ha ha ha. Qing Wan's eyes were obviously anxious, and she said in a tremble, "Miss, what should I do now? How about I protect you to rush out desperately?" I have the best defense magic weapon given by the master. Even if my cultivation is ruined, I will get Miss out of here safely. However, Heshi's face did not have the panic that she should have. She looked at the fist-sized thunderclouds floating in the air with a half-smile, and her water's spiritual power turned into filaments and probed out, touching these thunderclouds seemingly. The water's spiritual power was swallowed up as soon as it hit the thundercloud. But Heshi's face showed a faint smile. "Miss, don't hesitate anymore, let's go," Qing Wan shouted anxiously. Nalan Yurong laughed triumphantly when she heard Qing Wan's words. "Do you think you can still leave now? Stop dreaming. Of course we can't go." Heshi sneered. "But why should we go?" "Qing Wan, you haven't seen my way of healing and poisoning, right?" Qing Wan said, "Huh?" Her eyes widened in surprise. Little Golden Dragon and Little Egg, who had been silent for a while, started chatting immediately. They weren't anxious at all. "Boss, let this shameless arrogant old woman see how good you are." "Yes, that's right. My mom is very skillful." "Who does she think she is? Mom can defeat her in an instant. What kind of stuff is this? My mother can solve it in minutes." Qing Wan kept her mouth wide open. She said in her heart, "This is beauty melt bone, Miluo continent's one of the most poisonous toxin, even Wu Xing will have a trouble dealing with it. Why are Miss and her spiritual pets so calm?" As she was thinking about it, a purple vine appeared in Heshi's hand. The purple leaves on the vine swayed gently as if expressing excitement. Heshi reached out and touched the top of purple abyss vine, and she chuckled, "Don't worry, this beauty melt bone is still kind of powerful. If you just go on it like that, maybe you will be corroded into ashes. Let me coat with a protective film on your vines first." After speaking, Heshi's palm had some light golden powder on her palm. She stretched out her hand and gently wiped it on the vines of purple abyss vine. The original purple vines were dyed with glittering color. Purple abyss vine suddenly made a rustling sound as if expressing uncomfortable and itchy. Little Egg clapped and laughed. "Auntie Little Purple has turned golden. She looks good. Shouldn't we call her Auntie Little Golden from now on?" Purple abyss vine suddenly became even more unhappy, shaking her leaves in protest. Heshi patted it and smiled. "Okay, go. Go and swallow up all the energy in those bloody thunderclouds. When you deal with these thunderclouds, I will remove the golden powder for you. The energy in these thunderclouds is delicious and suitable for you. If you don't eat it, I will destroy them all." Purple abyss vine immediately stopped protesting. She raised her long purple gold vines, excitedly rushing toward the nearest few thunderclouds. Seeing Heshi's actions and the purple vines that appeared out of thin air, Nalan Yurong couldn't help but sneered contemptuously, "Idiot, you think this little demonic plant can resist the corrosion of the beauty melt bone? Ha ha ha, stop dreaming." Seeing that the bloody thunderclouds gathered more and more, they had already surrounded Nalan Heshi, sealing off her way to retreat. Nalan Yurong couldn't help being more excited. "Soon, you will become a pile of ashes under beauty melt bone." However, before Nalan Yurong hadn't finished speaking, her eyes widened suddenly, and she let out a sharp roar. "How is this possible?" The purple vine went inside the bloody thunderclouds. But it didn't turn into ashes by the toxin, it even devoured the thunderclouds completely. After swallowing the thunderclouds, the excited main vine of purple abyss vine trembled. "It's so delicious. It is even more delicious than those demonic plants in 100 Herb Mist." After purple abyss vine swallowed a thundercloud, it turned around excitedly and started to swallow the second, third. As Nalan Yurong and Qing Wan were astounded, purple abyss vine swallowed up the bloody thunderclouds created by Death Rain Disc in just a few seconds. "Impossible! Impossible! How is this possible?" Nalan Yurong kept backing away while screaming, "This is beauty melt bone, can even devour the rank 6 demonic plant completely. Why can a vine swallow thunderclouds?" Qing Wan's face was also full of disbelief. She couldn't believe her eyes at all. When she looked at Heshi again, her gaze was not just worship, but the fanatic's enthusiasm for watching an idol. Our princess is really amazing. No wonder even Qing Long, who always alienates himself, said that the only person on Miluo continent who can heal master is our princess. When Purple Abyss Vine returned to Heshi, all the vines seemed to become fatter. They couldn't even shake. But she was still shaking her leaves happily, and there was a grunting sound from time to time as if it was belching. Heshi didn't know whether to laugh or cry as she felt the excitement of Purple Abyss Vine. She gently touched her vines, and the golden powder instantly disappeared without a trace. Nalan Yurong stared at Heshi. Finally, her arrogant voice seemed to have a tremor of fear. Nalan Heshi, who are you? Why can you neutralize the beauty melt bone? What did your demonic plant just do? Heshi raised her eyebrows and looked at her with a light smile. Her eyes were full of seeming contempt. Nalan Yurong, don't you want to know how capable am I? Today I will open your eyes and let you know what is the real poison. As soon as she spoke, Heshi's wrist turned over, and dozens of thin invisible needles appeared on her fingertips. Unlimited silver needles were launched toward Nalan Yurong. The silver needle was so slender that it was almost invisible, but Nalan Yurong seemed to be able to feel the cold and bloody smell in the air. Extreme fear surged in Nalan Yurong's heart. Heshi can even crack, beauty melt bone. How terrifying it is if she uses her poison. If I'm poisoned by this poison, wouldn't I be utterly dead? No. I'm so young, so beautiful, and so talented, how can I die? Nalan Yurong was panicked, but the invisible needles were in front of her. Her mind went blank. She grabbed Mrs. Nalan by the side and put her in front without thinking. Ah! Mrs. Nalan, who was originally crazy, made a sharp scream. All of the invisible needles landed on her body. Later, she was quickly thrown aside like some terrible garbage by Nalan Yurong. Mrs. Nalan's body twitched violently, and her cloudy eyes suddenly became clear. She looked at Nalan Yurong in disbelief, the eldest daughter whom she spoiled for a lifetime. Nalan Yurong was looking at Nalan Heshi with horror and resentment, but she batted an eye on her biological mother. Mrs. Nalan opened her mouth with difficulty and muttered, Yurong, you, how can you? However, before she finished speaking, she suddenly let out a painful moan. Itchy. It's so itchy. Immediately afterward, she began to scratch her whole body frantically. Her face, neck, hands, and even the clothes she had worn on her body were torn apart vigorously. Her long nails scratched into the flesh without stopping. Only a moment later, Mrs. Nalan's entire face was badly mutilated with flesh and blood from her scratches. There was almost no intact skin left on her whole body. Especially when she couldn't catch her back, she kept rubbing and rolling on the ground, making a stern sound in her mouth. The horror and miserable was indescribable. Nalan Yurong was shocked by the scene in front of her. She imagined that if the person who had been poisoned just now was herself, wouldn't all her beauty and appearance be ruined? She took a deep breath. Her gaze looking at Nalan Heshi was not just hate, but a deep fear. Heshi looked at her with a sneer. Nalan Yurong, you just asked me just now whether I should get God's retribution for hitting my stepmother. Nalan Yaru is your mother, you actually used her as a shield, aren't you afraid of God's retribution? So, what about that? Nalan Yurong gritted her teeth, her voice was trembling, but her tone was full of indifferent. I'm the best child of Nalan family and the hope for the future of Nalan family. She is just a crazy madam without any power. There is no need to think about whether whose life is more important. She is my mother. She naturally has to give up her life for me. What's more, if you didn't try to kill me, how did my mother end up like this? Nalan Heshi, you vicious bitch, you dare to complain that to me first? Nalan Yurong said with great joy, but she did not see tears in the eyes of her mother who was rolling on the ground. Her eyes were full of disappointment. Heshi was amused by the speech of this elder sister. If she wants to kill me, I can't fight back. If I fight back, I'm a vicious bitch. The logic of the Nalan family is still shameless. He was about to speak when suddenly Nalan Jingza's majestic voice came from outside the door. What happened? What's so noisy? I can even hear it in the front yard. Xinu house had just broken the roof and there was another fierce fight. Of course, the people at Nalan Mansion would hear the movement. Moreover, He had no intention of covering it up. Nalan Yurong saw Nalan Jingza as if she had seen a savior, and said with sobs, "Father, save mother quickly. Nalan He actually poisoned her and threatened to kill me." Nalan Jingza, who had just entered the room, immediately looked at his bloody wife, who was rolling and wailing on the ground, and he was shocked. He looked at Nalan He viciously. "You animal, you dare to attack your stepmother, today I will not let you go." A triumphant smile flashed in Nalan Yurong's eyes, but she cried, "Father, you quickly find a way to save mother. Don't you have Juko Lingshan pill? That pill can cure all kinds of poison. It will definitely save mother." There was indeed a Juko Lingshan pill on Nalan Jingza, which he left after refining today. But he originally planned to keep it for emergencies. Nalan Jingza didn't want to admit that she, the woman who was no different as a ghost, was his wife, let alone save her. But facing his daughter's request, he still took out the Juko Lingshan pill. Nalan Yurong took Juko Lingshan pill with a trace of greed and desire in her eyes. This time, apart from investigating Xingda Hall's situation, her master also asked her to find the Juko Lingshan pill's formula from home. Master had promised that as long as she gets the Juko Lingshan pill formula, she will be admitted to the Doctors Association's inner hall and be promoted to the 5th grade doctor. Even if this Juko Lingshan pill was the future and hope of the Nalan family, for her own future, she, Nalan Yurong, must get it. Nalan Yurong lowered her eyebrows, kept the ambition in her eyes, knelt down, and helped Mrs. Nalan up. Although Mrs. Nalan looked like a horrible ghost now, her sanity at this time was clear. So, in her daughter's arms, she saw with her own eyes that Nalan Yurong secretly hid the Juko Lingshan pill that she got from Nalan Jingza's arms, but she gave her another very similar red medicinal pills. Mrs. Nalan moaned, and her heart was cold. There was a strong resentment in her heart. "Nalan Yurong, this is my eldest daughter whom I loved and cared for 20 years. Everything I did was for her, and I gave everything to her. But how does she treat me now? She didn't save her younger sister Nalan Feishue, she used me as a shield, and now she wanted to watch me die for a Juko Lingshan pill. Nalan Yurong, how can you? How can you be so outrageously immoral and conscienceless?" Mrs. Nalan's chest surged with anger. Her mind went blank suddenly, and she passed out. Nalan Yurong let go of Mrs. Nalan, who spat out white foam and blood and fainted, and exclaimed, "Mother! Mother!" She pretended to be panicked and looked at Nalan Jingza. "Father, what should I do? Even Juko Lingshan pill can't cure the poison on mother." Of course, Juko Lingshan pill couldn't cure all the poisons in the world. At least the deadly poisons like blood drunk and beauty melt bone couldn't be cured. However, how many strange deadly poisons could there be in this world? Nalan Jingza's face became extremely ugly. She looked at Nalan He with eyes full of gloominess and hatred. "Impudent child, how do you get the poison? Say it quickly." He looked at the reaction of Nalan Jingza and Nalan Yurong, and she was amused. The two Nalan family members in front of them were really cold-blooded. One used her own mother as a shield, and the other saw that his wife was so miserable, but he cared more about the origin of the poison rather than saving her. He didn't have to think to figure out why Nalan Jingza cared so much about the origin of the poison. Isn't he just want to get an Lingyue's relic from me? As for the life and death of Mrs. Nalan, no one cares, and no one asked her to cure the poison on Mrs. Nalan. Ha, it's so sad enough to think about it. Thinking of this, He made a mocking smile and looked at Nalan Jingza coldly. "Why should I tell you?" Nalan Jingza stretched out his hand and patted it on the table. "Animal, I'm your father. Is that how you talk to your father?" Heshi raised her eyebrows, looked straight into Nailin eyes, and then slowly uttered a few words, "My father?" "Nailin, are you worthy?" "Bitch. Animal. Who taught you to treat your father this way? Did you know that disobedience and unfilial piety will face the gods' retribution?" Heshi sneered. Her tone full of indifference, "I face the gods' retribution for being unfilial to my biological father, but Nailin, are you my father?" What? Nailin shuddered, and his eyes widened in disbelief. Heshi stared tightly into his eyes, saying word by word, "Nailin, are you really my father? Are you worthy?" Being stared at by Heshi's faintly purple phoenix eyes, Nailin only felt a shock in his mind as if he had seen the familiar figure saying with the same cold and alienated voice. Almost reflexively, he exclaimed, You know already." As soon as Nailin said this, Nailin Yurong's eyes widened suddenly. She looked at Nailin in surprise, then looked at Nailin Heshi again. "What does father mean? Nailin Heshi is not a child of the Nailin family. Who is she then?" Heshi sneered, "Know what? Know that you are not my biological father. Know that you let Nailin Zian impersonate my own brother. Know that you do so much just to get my mother's relic from me." As Heshi said, Nailin face became more and more gloomy. His gaze stared at Heshi like a poisonous snake, and he slowly said, "You really knew it. You still acted in front of me. You as shameless as your mother." He took a deep breath and sneered, "Since you know it, you'd better hand over what I want. Don't say that you don't have your mother's relics, otherwise, with your original waste and cowardly appearance, how can you have the glory you have nowadays?" Thinking of the medicine bottle he received a few days ago, he wished he could tear Nailin Heshi this bitch to pieces. "You bitch, even if I'm not your biological father, I still raised you up after all. Your mother's relic, you would rather give it to outsiders like Shiyu and King of Hell than giving it to me. You are so ungrateful, aren't you afraid of being punished by God's retribution?" Nailin Yurong, who was listening by the side, looked even more shocked. It could only be described as horrified. "Shiyu? Isn't Shiyu the owner of Xingda Hall? That amazing young doctor? Could it be that Nailin Heshi handed over the relic in her hands to Shiyu, so that she can achieve what she has now? All the best quality pills in Xingda Hall come from the relic in the hands of Nailin Heshi." Thinking of this, Nailin Yurong was agitated. "If I obtain this relic, doesn't it mean that I can be powerful in the Doctors' Association? Even His Royal Highness King of Hell will come to marry her." Heshi finally couldn't help laughing after hearing this. "Nailin, you all conscienceless people of the Nailin family, why do you all always like to say God's retribution? If conscienceless people should be punished by God, shouldn't you all the first to be punished?" Nailin face was distorted for a while. He didn't know how much Heshi knew, but at this time he dared not say more. However, Nailin immediately calmed down after thinking of another matter. He looked at Heshi coldly and said, You can continue to be arrogant in front of me. But, you may not know, you are already inflicted by my poison. After 3 days at most, the poison on your body will be triggered. As long as you give me your mother's relic, I will give you the antidote, how about that?" Nailin looked at Heshi with a smile. His heart was filled with certainty. "I know you have gained some skills after getting your mother's relic, but this poison is definitely not something you can neutralize. This poison comes from Thousand Poison Valley. Except for Thousand Poison Valley owner who has an antidote, it cannot be cured at all. With your level, you can only wait for death." Heshi sighed, watching Nailin and his daughter's eyes full of pity and sarcasm. She said leisurely, "Why poison again? It is even a poison that no one can cure. This poison is indeed interesting. The main medicine is intestine sever powder, which is obviously a poison, but it is colorless and tasteless, and there is no response after taking it. It can also delay the onset of the poison. The reason is that it is added with 1,000 phantoms gallon, right? 1,000 phantoms gallon, that is a demonic plant that has disappeared in the Miluo continent, and it may not even be found in the magical beast forest. You actually used such a precious medicine on me. I'm really flattered. Nailan Zhengzi was shocked, his eyes were full of horror. How do you know? Nailan Zhengzi and Nailan Yurong were really father and son, they reacted in sync. Although the girl in front of her didn't look amazing, her phoenix eyes were gleaming as she slightly squinted. She was obviously a thin and weak girl, but she was looking down on him like a god looking down at a mortal. Nailan Zhengzi trembled all over. He almost couldn't help exclaiming. "And Lingyue." At this moment, he seemed to see the shadow of An Lingyue. The person who looked at him was no longer the useless Nailan Heshi, but the pretty and talented An Lingyue. Nailan Zhengzi took a step back subconsciously, then he recollected his mind. He squeezed his fist in anger, and he stared at Heshi fiercely. "Bitch, even if you realize that it is 1,000 phantasms gallon, there is no way for you to cure its poison. You better hand out the item, otherwise." Before Nailan Zhengzi finished speaking, there was a sudden rush of footsteps behind him. Master. It's not good." The butler rushed to Nailan Zhengzi with a head full of sweat. "Master, you should go to the front hall quickly." "What happened? Why are you making a fuss?" Nailan Zhengzi stared at the housekeeper sternly. But the housekeeper didn't seem to notice Nailan Zhengzi's annoyance at all. He just trembled with fear and panic. "Master, the people who bought Juko Lingshan pill before have come. They said that there is a problem with the medicinal pills they bought. They all come to ask for an explanation." "Master, you should go and see now." Nailan Zhengzi exclaimed, "How is this possible?" His face was full of horror and confusion. "I have been refining the Juko Lingshan pill with the same method. How anything go wrong? If Juko Lingshan pill has a problem, what hope does my Nailan family have?" Nailan Zhengzi was anxious, and his hands shook slightly. "You go to the front hall to comfort the guests first, then tell them I will be there soon." After the butler left, Nailan Zhengzi gave Heshi a fierce look, and he said to the guards beside him, "Guard this Xianyu house properly. If this bitch escapes, I will let you all die without a place to bury." After he finished speaking, he hurried away. Because he was so flustered that he almost tripped over his own feet when he left the courtyard. Heshi looked at Nailan Zhengzi's leaving back, and she couldn't help showing a mocking smile. Nailan Yurong, who was still in the room, stared greedily and hatefully at Heshi. Finally, she couldn't help asking, "Sister, what is the relic in your hand? Is it the best quality pill of Shindahal?" Heshi turned around and looked at her with a half-smile. She didn't speak. Nailan Yurong clenched her fists, trying to maintain her kind and gentle expression. "Sister, you just heard what father said. You have been poisoned by him, and he will never let you go. Father has always been cruel. If you fall into his hands, even if you hand over your mother's relic, you will never end well. Why don't you give me that relic?" Heshi raised his eyebrows. "Give it to you? Why? Just because you just wanted to kill me over and over again?" Nailan Yurong's eyes flashed gloomily. She said coldly, "Nailan Heshi, you better don't be ungrateful. I ask you to hand over the relic because I want to help you. I'm the disciple of Master Shukong, even father has to give face to me. Only I can save you now. If you hand over the relic obediently, I can still plead for you in front of my master. Maybe he will also accept you as a registered discipline, then your future will be very promising. Otherwise, you will wait for the rest of your life to be locked in a dungeon by father and spend the rest of your life in darkness. Which choice is better, don't you understand it?" Heshi shook her head and smiled. "Elder sister is right. After seeing you and Nailan Zhengzi, I also changed my mind a little. Are you going to give me your mother's relic?" Nailan Yurong thought she had finally compromised, and her whole body trembled with excitement. "Quick! Show me those pill formulas." He shook her head again and slowly said, I initially planned to keep you in Nalanjingza to slowly torment you two so that you two will die after suffering. But now I have changed my mind, Nalan Yurong, all your behaviors really disgust me. I have decided, you will die now. As soon as she spoke, the sky full of purple vines whizzed up into the sky, enveloping this small room and isolating time and void. The guards left by Nalanjingza were guarding outside the room, and Nalanjingza had never thought that his elder daughter who was at the peak of the meridian stage would lose to Nalan Hashi, so he didn't let those guards in either. Now, the purple vines covered the hut, which meant an enchantment was set up. It isolated sound and movement. Even those guards looked inside, they couldn't notice any strange. Nalan Yurong's eyes widened in horror. Feeling the majestic spiritual power surging at her, she couldn't believe what she saw. Isn't that Nalan Hashi can't cultivate? Didn't she have no cultivation? Why is she exuding such a terrifying spirit pressure and showing such a powerful force? Nalan Yurong desperately backed away, trying to escape. She said in a trembled voice, You. Who exactly are you? Hashi chuckled and did not answer. As her finger channeled spiritual power, the sharp purple vines suddenly rushed toward Nalan Yurong. Now Hashi's true strength had reached the terrifying advanced level of the gold core stage. Although her cultivation level was still the meridian stage, it was definitely not something that an ordinary meridian stage cultivator like Nalan Yurong could resist. She didn't even have the power to resist Hashi's one blow. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.